Fighter League Pro Japan. The stakes couldn't get any higher as we have reached do or die time. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, for Division S, it is match number 5. We are at the halfway point. And again, we've talked about it, we've speculated. As it stands right now, some of these teams really need to make a name for themselves and acquire as many points as possible. Looking at the current matchups at hand, though, one thing is for certain, it's going to be bangers all over the board. My name is Vicious, here with Senkola to deliver all of the action for the English broadcast for match number 5. Before we get into it and all the rules, etc., Senkola, how are you feeling about today's matchups, considering it is the halfway point?
I've been waiting for this, brother. It's going to be beggars upon beggars, as you mentioned. I can't wait to see how people are going to be dealing with the DLC characters and the adjustments that are going to be happening even after this when Terry drops next week. But as you mentioned, it's do or die time for a lot of these teams, especially Team Detonation. Focus me. I'm very focused on them, and if they're going to get a win or if they're going to keep staying at the bottom. Unfortunately, 45 points only to their name currently thus far.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of hotly contested matches going into it, as we have not really gone into the runbacks for a lot of these teams, but in terms of the point spread thus far, the speculation is going to be pretty much wild. I think with the first matchup at hand, when you see Fukushima Ibushigen versus Good 8 Squad, that's going to be the top 2 teams duking against each other. And I feel like once that lead is established, most of the time, according to history, those teams kind of run away with it. The fair thing is, though, only the top 3 teams make it into the playoffs, so a lot of things to consider. Now, as it stands right now, we've talked about the away teams pretty much accumulating majority of those points. We finally saw that shaken up with the previous division, Division F, looking at match 4, where the home team absolutely destroyed in big fashion. They had 40 bombers 2 times over in their matchups. So we're looking to see maybe that type of repeat for some of these teams at hand, because again, we talked about do or die time. It's for what's on the line, right? 8 million yen in the prize pool, 5 million going to first, 2 million going to second, and of course, $1 million, still a hefty chunk of change for third place. Now, with that in mind as well, we've talked about it time and time again for those that haven't really been initiated into Street Fighter League Japan just yet. We do have the home away team rule. The away side, they get to establish their player order as well as their character selection ahead of time, whereas the home team, they get the advantage of being able to make those counter picks happen and choose according to what's already on the board. And as it stands right now, with the first 2 matches at hand, we have 10 points awarded to the winner of those each. However, in the final anchor match, there is a possibility of 20 points. Now, if there's ever a tiebreaker, if you had done the math, there is a potential sudden death match which awards 5 points to the winner of the best of 1. Now, you may have asked, hey, what's the format in regards to these team battles? Well, the first 2 are going to be 2 out of 3. The anchor match, ever so important, 3 out of 5. And that's the current breakdown of how we do things here at Street Fighter League Pro Japan. Man, I can hear the cans being opened, and it sounds mad refreshing. You can see, yo, that's actually pretty cool. Haitani and Aru both on the desk at the same time. That is the most legendary thing you could ask for, by the way.
Absolutely. Absolute legends out there on the sticks and on the mic as well. But, going more into what's going down also with the league, we're all playing for the playoffs. Top 3 teams, as you mentioned, moving on to the finale. The top teams of Division S and Division F will battle it out for the finale to fight the US and EU teams at Capcom Cup. I can't believe I'm saying it's in Japan, in the arena where sumo wrestlers play, bro. That is going to be a sick venue to see. But again, I'll get ahead of myself. I know the US is going to be starting real soon. The combines happened like a month and a half ago. EU will be happening in November, live in Cherry area, which I cannot wait to see. Live Street Fighter is always sick to see, just like it is out here. Either way, it's going to be hard to call who's going to be taking it in terms of which division, in terms of who's on the day for any of these teams. And they're also playing for not only the prize we'll mention, but the award, Season MVP, Point Getter Award, Win Rate Award, Rookie of the Year Award, and my favorite, and yours too as well, people at home, Drive Impact Award. Now, I have to make a little bit of an adjustment. Last week I said that Koku was the current placeholder right now for that award. Unfortunately, I misspoke. He had the most Drive Impact attempts, but the success ratio is still in Macho's hands thus far. So I'm assuming it's for success, other than like just matching Drive Impact, because at that point you just be doing that continuously every match. Like that's not as fun. I think it has to be success.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be as lucrative either in terms of being a point getter, because the majority of the time I think a lot of players that mash Drive Impact at this high level kind of get blown up. So I'm glad that they're not just mashing it for the sake of just mashing it. We're not going to see that in such a level of play. But we are going to see the official watch party being thrown down tonight, actually. During Section 5, we have a wide variety of high-end names in Japan for not only just the fighting game community, but also in the VTuber community as well. And all led by some really big names, obviously. 2 members of Crazy Raccoon, that's interesting. While one lone leader from Team Battle, that's Magu, the 2D god. We have Shuto as well, and Kazunoko Senpai leading the official watch party. With a lot of the fans at home being able to tune in. I was wondering maybe like, it was funny enough, I was on the train over here and I wanted to see like if there was like the warm-up, if anybody was watching the warm-up. I didn't get to like peer through or see it, but I've heard plenty of times over that a lot of the people on their way home from work would watch on the trains. They would watch on their phones, so it's actually a very, very big surprise to me. I actually had to talk with one of the trading card members that are part of Japan, one of the big trading card people here. They're like, yeah, the FGC is so popular here in Japan, and it's dude, it is wild. It is absolutely wild.
I love seeing that support. Just I say this every single week. Seeing people packed to the brim to watch like a World Warrior, to watch a Street Fighter League. It's like its own big sport. I mean, it's esport, but it's like a huge sport over there, and it's great to see like that momentum continue to build. You know, for a lot of games, sometimes it kind of just peters off a little bit after like the first year or so. It feels like Street Fighter 6 continues to keep that momentum, and I hope it continues just everywhere. I know Stage Slam's going to be happening this week. Y'all make sure to tune into that this weekend. And something similar in terms of having like VTubers and stuff like that fighting out. And it's cool just to see players and like just the general community really go out and try different things and watch like these team tournaments and stuff like that. It really gives a different sort of essence instead of like the 1v1 that we're used to. You're kind of rooting for an entirety of a team. You have the team aspect where people are conversing back and forth. The training that has been going on. Justin Wong was just training one of his apprentices recently and then went right back to Marvel right after. Like he's like, okay, you get like 3 hours of my time and then I'm going back to Marvel. But it's so cool to see the camaraderie, which is kind of rare when it's like that 1v1, which we usually have in the FGC.
It's pretty wild to see like the overall growth of the game and where it's headed in regards to like how popular it's become, and then how even more so popular it became with a lot of like the higher end streamers. What's actually kind of funny about that is it's not even just like the coaches pushing the players, but it's the players themselves pushing their teammates. I think there was an interaction between Lily and Scarra where Lily was like, listen Scarra, you are not allowed to play any other game on your stream. If I see you on your stream not practicing Street Fighter, I am 100% going to be yelling at you through the rooftops, etc. There was a lot more expletives, obviously, than in that whole video. But it's funny, right? A lot of the players are really pushing each other to get to another level of fighting games, specifically for Street Fighter 6. So, again, very exciting times. And now, speaking of, it is time to get into match number 1. Let's talk about our matchup between Fukushima Ibushigen versus Good 8 Squad, starting with the away side as Sasamo steps up to the plate as the Sunlit Rising Star. And I love these nicknames too, all granted by the community as well. And of course, Fukushima's go-getter, who could forget, it is Yanai stepping up as well. And he's been doing a fantastic job thus far in regards to his gameplay. He still needs to get some points on the board. However, the person who's up before us right now, a daredevil on ice, is Kosa, the former ice skating superstar, now taken to the streets alongside the perfect parry Prince Kakaru as their leader. Man, it's so cool to see such a tight-knit group, not even just like in the game, but also very good friends as well, to see that interaction all over Twitter, right?
They're all doing that. That is so great. The unity is amazing right there. We're going to need every unity as possible, every prospect of unity as possible. They're going up against the goodest boys out here, Good 8 Squad. Last season for Street Fighter 6, the very first one that we had, they did not get the results that they wanted. They're out here back with a vengeance. This team is absolutely ridiculous. You've got an EVO champion, a Capcom Cup champion, a legend in terms of the fighting game community, and a rising star himself as Pugera. Let's go down the list of Good 8 Squad. Starting off with the monk coming down from the mountains to lay hands on the man with that sim is YHC Mochi, a legend in the yoga community. After that, we've got the Cosmic Buster. Kugera on the Bison, but I see him developing an Ed on the side every so often. We'll see if that comes into play, or if it's even necessary. He's doing fine without it. The Singularity, who's found that single character that take him to victory. It's Akuma with Kawano, the Evo champion. And then Led, leading the team, is the honest hero, but there's nothing honest about that mix-up in the corner. Gachikun on the Rashid, leading this windy team to victory. They're in the top spot right now. Let's see if they can keep it against their second place battlers that are coming up from Ibushingen.
Yeah, it is quite the match at hand, right? You have the top two spots facing off against each other. I don't know what that is, but listen, man, I'm not throwing any of those signs in Los Angeles. I'll tell you what. But the point spread currently between the top two teams happens to be, I believe, what, 25-point spread. So there is a big possibility of a turnaround here for Fukushima Ibushingen, but it has to be in fashion of a clean victory. It cannot go to sudden death. They have to at least score. Actually, there is a possibility where they could still be in second place, even if it's 30-10. If they manage to get a 40 ball, that's the only way they take over the leaderboards. Granted, it's still relatively early. It is in the midway point, so it's not as pivotal as it would be like in 2 weeks away of a playoff spot, right? So I think right now they're doing just fine.
I say, though, make them bleed. Make the gods bleed. Good 8 Squad has been too dominant in previous seasons. Maybe not the last one, the ones before that. Way too on top. Make these boys drop, and now this is where the sim really starts to shine. When he's on the home side, you can counterpick with this character. A lot of Ed players, after I talked with them after the Fudo versus, I think it was Waichi Mochi match, maybe it's Tora match, either way. I've talked with a few Ed players who are like, I don't like this matchup. This matchup is difficult. Fudo really has to put his back into it in terms of finding the hit confirms. You know, it felt like Fudo was having to outplay more often than not to make the matchup even close to even. So I like Waichi Mochi going up, especially in the first 2 works. Harder to adjust in a long distance matchup where he can outbox you. Where Ed would like to do that, Sim does it even better in this matchup. So we'll see what Sasuo has. I mean, he's a technician on his own side of things. He is the one who kind of picked up Ed. Didn't care what people thought about the character in terms of him being weak or strong. He's been with Ed since the character dropped. So let's see what he has for the Sim.
ガチ君ファイトクラブっていうイベントにイブシンが呼ばれたことがあって、その時もちろんいなかったんですけど、なんかグッパチに対してはすごい、その時めちゃめちゃスコスコにやられちゃって対抗心がずっとあったんですよね。で、なんか巡り巡って今この大舞台で1位2位争いしてるところじゃないですか。そうですね。40-0を決める第一歩として自分が選んでいただいたんで、頑張ります。
Pretty detailed. I think there was a mention of like preparing for Gachikun perhaps, but being on the away side, they are locked in with their picks. Interestingly enough, there is a little bit of history between the two. Like Sasamo was mentioning, Mochi is a really strong player before beating Ibushingen 3 years ago, so he's looking to get his revenge as we get YSC Mochi's response now.
Interested to see what the Ledge is saying here.
出てきたと思うんですけど、そう簡単にはいかせませんよと。
頑張れ、森さん。
老快さをちょっと見せつけて勝ちたいと思いますので、よろしくお願いします。
お願いします。
ありがとうございます。熱いっすね。
Yeah, imagine he's never one to kind of like go into like any sort of character most of the time, right? So I'd imagine there's like a lot of like subtleties in regards to his speech and what he had to say towards Sasamo. But looking at the matchup at hand, Fudo barely taking the W against YSC Mochi kind of like says a lot in regards to how much practice Mochi has in the matchup currently. I haven't seen anybody speak highly of the matchup as an end player, nor have I seen them really complain about it. I think more so the complaints haven't come to the surface because of the fact that Dawson players are not as abundant or like not even as common at all in the Western audience. So a very difficult thing to call out right now. But it looks like YSC Mochi, we got the interview. Looking at Sasamo's previous match against Dawson, he's winning, but I will not let him win today. What a call out. Here we go. Game 1. between these two competitors.
I like the energy. I'm sure YGMochi has studied the tapes and what happened against Fudo. What he has to adjust. Perfect parry, the punish right after, the fireball, and the side switch off the OD arc. Beautiful setup to be able to get outside the corner, but the flicker, they put him right back there with the back throw right after.
That was wrong! What a call out. That was actually mad random for me. Yeah, and being able to hover outside of that range is so pivotal to Dhalsim's game plan, right? Being able to outrange the flicker and also be such a nuisance from full screen is really forcing a lot of the errors here from Sasamo, taking so much damage that was unnecessary, really. Like, he's just walking into limbs just like that right now. Standing medium punch, closing it out. Nice and simple after that side switch from YGMochi. Starting things off again, harassing with a medium punch. The punish counter now coming in from Sasamo, but still so mobile.
So up in the corner, this is where he can really shine. Put the pressure on, the flicker pressure. Difficult to deal with. Yoga uppercut. Fireball to lock him down. Stand medium, way too stubborn. That stand medium kick is not follow-up. Frame kill for the medium punch. But for side switch, no. We hold tight. We're killing the drive gauge as much as possible. There's the burnout. This is definitely doable here for YGMochi. If you can find a burnout in a decent drive rush sequence, sorry, drive impact, we're looking for Sansara.
Damn!
Pull the blast in the super to finish it. What is this combo?
That's hella damage, dude. You know,
wow.
I would think to myself, if I wasn't following Liston the Prince from the East Coast, I would not even see or understand what the setups would be. But yeah, that is a very common circumstance. Once you get the burnout, you're opting to go for the level 2 majority of the time to lead into a juggle into the Yoga Inferno.
Turning the Liston stream, my God. Fantastically done from the side of YGMochi. He gets the first game pretty dominantly. Once he gets the lead, it's hard to stop him. He's able to get the side switch and outbox the character. It's hard for Ed to get in. Drive rush. The flicker to pull him close. Wasn't holding parry, so it wasn't strike throw distance. Punish counter throw. Again, on him holding parry. Burnout is there.
And again, a lot of trouble coming in from nearly 3/4 of the screen. Sasamo, despite having all the training in the world on CFN for the matchup, you are facing a different breed of Dhalsim. This is the man who pretty much invents the meta as Dhalsim every iteration of Street Fighter, so long as he exists, right? Like, YGMochi has been a Dhalsim specialist forever and a day.
Been with the Yoga for a long, long time. This man created the scrolls of Yoga. Back throw. That's a heavy kick. The anti-air is there. Perfect pair on the fireball. And as soon as he tries to take his turn and drive rush in, it's immediate interruptions. Yoga Noogie. The loop throw puts him up in the corner slide. No, back up for the heavy kick. Looking to catch a button. It's just the template of fireballs and buttons has been so hard to read here for Sasamo. Hasn't been able to get anything significant. Hasn't been able to like at least get a buffer, the drive rush with punish right after on anything. Already difficult to do in the first place. That medium kick does hit. Level 3.
Man. You got him in critical art territory, a significant amount of damage to both the drive gauge and the health bar, but what do you do with it as Sasamo? Let's take a look at the spacing. You set up with the drive rush. You sure do, into the drive impact as well. With the frame kill on top of that. Mochi actually wasn't even in burnout. Now he is, though. A little bit dicey. Sasamo doesn't want to overextend. There could have been a moment, perhaps. Maybe try to sneak in a drive impact, but with critical art on deck for YGMochi, I wouldn't trust it, right? We don't know if he's ready with the reactions for any sort of super art.
In the west, don't jump. Bars back for YGMochi, the flip out. Avoids the throw, the dive kick. Able to get the fall right after. OD fireball. I should say normal fireball. I wonder if there's going to be an OD fireball real soon here to kind of lock him down. He doesn't need it. It's a long fist from long distance. It's YGMochi who has studied the tapes on how to deal with Ed and keep this character out continuously.
Yeah, it looked like a very one-sided affair in regards to the momentum as well. I think there was only one instance where Sasamo had clearly gotten into YHC Mochi's comfort zone and being able to close that gap, right? That's the main mission. That's kind of like the sole objective majority of the time, is trying to find a way to safely advance and get into Dhalsim's range where he can't get away with the longer limbs and also be at risk throwing those longer limbs, right? But one of the big highlights, obviously, we got to see the burst into the Inferno, and you can hear the excitement too. That is a very common situation in regards to what happens after burnout for Dhalsim. So seeing that exemplified and the way it was done too, I gotta say, big ups to YHC Mochi showing up that combo. However, looking at the side of Sasmo, we started to see the inner workings of like how he understands the matchups, etc. But it was a little bit too late. I think in a possible first to 3 situation, I think there would have been a little bit more of a fighting chance, but this was just way too clean for YHC Mochi.
2-on-point fireballs with the buttons as well, and also calling out any sort of like entry approach, whether it be drive rush, we saw being checked the challenge, we saw the charge up stand fierce with the jump fierce against that. He knew the distance to stand to as well, to not let anything land long range, and I do like that from YHC Mochi. He takes 10 points for his team thus far. YHC Mochi, I like them utilizing this character on the home side. I talked with Problem X about that. He was like, man, if you have a sim on your team, that's a really easy thing to utilize as like a weapon on the home side. Now on the away side, maybe not so good. Can be counterpicked. On the home side, a great tool. Now, who could be coming up next? Me, I like Pugera. I think Pugera should go up. Save Kawano for the very end. I think Kawano does very good against mirror matches, and Akuma, if it comes up to it, and does really well against Bison overall. So I think Pugera, you put him up against someone like Kosa or Kosa.
I think I like Pugera possibly for maybe the mirror match. Call me crazy on this one, but I think that's something they might have like practiced perhaps, but I wouldn't be surprised if I saw him in the anchor in the middle, but maybe Kawano? No, Pugera looks prepared. Oh, okay. Pugera was playing tricks with me. He was looking at the camera all weird. Okay, so here's my line of thinking. Remember how we saw the Bisons versus the Rashids over at AWC? I think the Bison players have made it much easier to fight that Rashid matchup with the overall development of the techniques of utilizing drive impact against the fireballs, being able to take away a lot of the advantages that Rashid does have with his normals and neutral whip, let alone the scissor kick, standing medium, and also even coming in from above with maybe like a hell attack, not a hell attack, sorry, with a devil's reverse if need be, or a head stop, right? I think Bison does a great job of being able to combat against someone like Rashid. So I think Kawano going up for this is a very comfortable matchup for Kawano's sake, but I wouldn't be surprised if Pugera truly is going to be the anchor for this match in the mirror, to make it a mirror match and awkward for the opposition.
I think he would do good in the mirror match. I guess my only fear with that is this Kakeru switch over to Akuma when things get too dicey. Like, is that going to be like the immediate switch? He's like, okay, Pugera's good in the mirror match. We've seen it time and time again. I've seen it on CFN. I've seen it in terms of tournament as well. Will he switch over to the Akuma if things get dicey? Will it even matter? Maybe Pugera's fine that matchup too as well. But either way, I think they'll be prepared. I think this is obviously a strategy that they have calculated in their mind, like that could happen, so they're prepared either way. And I agree. I think putting up Rashid at the end would be probably very problematic. So right here for this matchup, though, Kawano probably just fine to deal with Ken on paper. I mean, he's fought Angry Bird a million times for EWC. We watched it, we saw it, we saw them playing. Even after the tournament was over, they sat down right before their planes came. So I'm sure he's well versed in the matchup. Kosa is such a different Ken player in terms of how he plays. You saw a lot of like run cancels to gain distance, to gain ground as like as a raw thing, not in between strings, but just to get in against players. He plays it like Zeku. Heavy kick is like his Graham. His fireball pressure too as well. It's like more like a poking tool, how you should play Ken. He's been one to really break down matchups. So I know he knows how to fight Akuma, but Kawano, on the other hand of things, this guy is so aggressive in a good sort of way. He's willing to go to burnout too as well. We've seen him get a lead, go to burnout, back off, similar to Luke, it's similar to a little bit of Noah. In terms of the interview, Kosa says, we didn't want to play Kawano, but he probably didn't want to play against me as well. Who do you think I'm playing against? It's Kakeru. What do you mean by that?
Ooh, that is a fair call out. That is a fair call out. In regards to matchup practice, yeah, Kakeru does have an Akuma up his sleeve, so it makes perfect sense. One of the things I do get concerned with is who's going to handle the other person's offense better on defense, right? I think both characters are very similar in regards to their damage output. Although I will say, like, Akuma, I think there's moments where he can get Oki mid-screen pretty consistently at the cost of a bar, whereas in comparison, Ken, off of a hit, can sometimes get into an enhanced Tatsu and force that corner positioning a lot earlier. So I think that's where the match is going to be at. It's going to be not a matter of damage output, because it's very similar. I think it's a matter of space positioning and who's going to get the corner positioning and all that offense up first, right? So here we go. Let's find out. Game 1 between Kosa and Kawano.
You know, a lot of plasma on both sides. At some point, if you're kidding, you have to expend some of that OD fireball just to deal with the fireballs that he's presenting. Against the walk speed of Akuma, you do have the crouching medium kick to kind of combat that, to be the speed bump, so he has to be careful walking into that. It's the crouching medium kick from Akuma, the tech on the throw. Trying to find an entry point. Good defense so far from Kosa.
Right. You can see it's very intentional, too, from Kawano. I mean, he mentioned it in his interview. If he's training with Kakadu, well, I'm training with all other strong Kens. A very wild statement to make. Now he gets himself into the corner, though. Kosa, he has so much estate to work with. There was time. The low medium kick does get blown up sky high. No opportunities to get the drive impact as a counter. One more for the board towards the award for the side of Kawano.
All the way up. And now Kawano playing that lane game. Doesn't have to overextend at this point. In fact, you can go for a nice little perfect pair against some of these fireballs if need be. Peppering with the plasma. And if you're Kosa, you have to expend some OD gauge at some point. Gets hit with the interruption. Cannot go band to band with these fireballs. The crouch kick lands, though. The buttons are fine. You can see enhanced Tatsu as we were talking about. Full corner carry. What do we do? We paid out the OD DP. Enhanced Tatsu for a nasty conversion. Tatsu DP. Nothing significant, but the damage is definitely there. Oh, an OD fireball.
Oh, what was that? Oh, he might be dead after this. And he runs into the fireball. Old Faithful right there. If all else fails, throw out the fireball. I like that. Kawano, he was knocking on death's door, but instead he was the one that turned the tables. He said, I am the one who knocks.
With that OD fireball, at the very end, wasn't able to make a significant comeback. Kosa has to find that rhythm to be able to throw out the OD fireball and make the magic happen. Don't be too obvious. Perfect parry against the fireballs of Akuma. As we said time and time again, people have gotten used to dealing with this character and his fast-ass fireball. Strive rush, though, against the tap parry. Another throw. Close to the corner. Careful now.
Man, the confirms are out of this world from Kawano. Single hit confirms into the drive rush. The overall presence right now has been very, very intimidating. Kosa has not even tried to go for any sort of like counter pokes thus far. I mean, that's the first couple of times we've seen Fireball this matchup, and now there is the counter poke finally. Crouching medium punch, being able to get the big opener against Kawano, very expensive opener.
These gets the side switch, a lot of damage dumped out. However, level 3 sits on the side. Kawano, if you can find a nice confirm as the driver's behind it, be death. Back throw, yes sir. The lockdown, charge up fireball for a little bit more variance. Bar almost back in the green. Could go for a drive rush overhead if he wants it. If he's close enough to enforce something that's hard for Kosa to try to interact with, especially with the fireballs behind it. Or driver's throw. Now the initiation here from Kosa. Corner situation, blocks out the go ride kick. I should say parries. Tap parry at least. Drive impact too far out for that. He tried to go for the drive impact against the fireball. He even looked for that exact moment, just did not have the distance.
I blinked for a split second. Was that OD fireball coming in from Kawano? If that's the case, I don't even think Kosa, if he was within range, would have been able to successfully get that drive impact.
So double in terms of not being able to get what he wanted in the first place. OD fireball and also the distance, making it so he wasn't going to be able to get what he wanted in the first place. I like the idea. There's been so many fireballs. They've been so close from the side of Kawano that it makes sense to throw out the drive impact. We saw that, especially with Idom versus like Samurai. We've seen that meta develop a little bit when you establish the perfect parries. You establish that I can get close to you and maybe block them out and look for the drive impact against the fast fireballs. But Kawano just a step ahead with the OD fireball, was already backed outside that distance with that great back walk speed. Looking a little puzzled right now.
Yeah, there's just a lot of intimidation coming in from the side of Kawano, right? I think majority of the times that we've watched Kosa play, it has been very, very slow paced. Now, Kawano, he's not necessarily like pushing the envelope in speed, but I think the normals that he's been throwing out in front of Kosa have been very like tantalizing to try to whiff punish, and he's been looking for that too. There have been plenty of moments where Kawano from even outside the range was throwing in crouch medium kicks, right? I think the sole purpose of that is to bait out maybe a stand roundhouse from Ken from further ranges to the ranges where it won't even connect, and Kawano would be able to react accordingly. So I think the acknowledgement is there, the respect is being given there from the side of Kosa, but every so often, man, we have to see that counterpoke. We have to see it's like some sort of a bait to the counterpokes, right? So it's hard. It's really hard to tell. Kosa sometimes will throw a couple of lights to test the reactions of Kawano, but Kawano's looking ice cold right now in terms of like the space. Everything's looking rather calculated in terms of like the normals he's throwing out. He's really trying to force a reaction out of Kosa.
It feels also like how he's getting to the corners, like drive rush throw. Obviously, the crouching middle kick, drive rush confirms, as you mentioned, have also been kind of putting Kosa on the back foot. Kosa not really popping out of ODDP or being able to like back up a little bit to catch a drive rush when he sees some coming. It's kind of strange to see him on the back foot, but I think it's again that aura that Kawano's presenting. And of course, being up in the corner against Akuma is deadly. I just watched a recent video from Angry Bird. He had to pull back on some of his words and say, "Hey man, when Akuma has you in the corner, I think this character is top tier out here." He said, "I think Akuma is the best in the game when he has you in the corner." He mentioned like it felt like 5 to 6 minutes of different things that Akuma could do. Forward fierce, stand fierce, fireball, forward medium kick, stand light kick, crouching medium kick. The list goes on, and it keeps you up in the corner, and it leads to big boy damage. This character's good. And Kawano knows how to get in the corner and make the magic happen. First game to him, already off with a Go Shoryuken as the anti-air approach. There's the crouching medium kick against the crouching medium punch. It's the counter poke with Braver here.
No possible anti-air, a little bit too difficult to call it out at the last second. There could have been a jump over for a cross cut, but again, that dive kick, very tricky. Now back-to-back throws from Kosa, netting a ton of damage right out the gate. Again, he's thinking a little bit differently. I do like the 2 jumps that he's thrown out thus far in this matchup, or at least in this round, to give a different look towards Kawano. Despite it being anti-aired, I still think it made it a lot better for Kosa to make it ambiguous as to what he's going to do on the ground, right? I think throwing these different looks, these different avenues of approach might be the key to opening up Kawano.
Especially if he gets too comfortable with the fireball so close. I do want to see some jump ins. That beautiful jump fierce that, you know, you hate to get blessed with. Oh, wasn't able to get anything off that shimmy, no stand medium kick. There's the confidence here, Kosa. Perfect parry, does have him up in the corner. Has to make the magic happen. We've seen time and time again, like a demon flip, to be able to get the side switch. Anti-air double dashes up for the back throw. Tick throw again.
Yeah, this is where Kawano gets to get away with it, right? We talked about the patience thus far from Kosa while maintaining that life lead. Kawano, he was just as calculated. What was that? That was a very fortunate circumstance. Crouching heavy punch from the side of Kawano from seemingly far away, and that was actually mad wild that Kosa was already preemptively running.
He'll take that. Has him up in the corner. The whip punish is there against the crouching medium kick. Trying to go for the peak, the poke. Hard knockdown, allows for the side switch to happen. Dive kick. Now the variance is coming through from the side of Kawano. A lot more aerial approach with the fireballs behind it. Again, multiple tools you have to worry about, especially with that OD gauge all juiced up. OD fireball, continuous threat for plus frames. OD fireball again, the drive rush right after.
Might just be lights out. Oh, most definitely. Kosa mistiming the jump away. At that distance, it's so hard to even react to. Totally understandable. So he preemptively jumped, landed on the fireball, made it much easier for the rest of that round to go in Kawano's favor. And now, speaking of which, 2 times over, you thought you can get the drive impact. It is Kosa with the more impactful play and also the impactful combo going into the corner. I like that. The Rantatsu bringing him all the way through. Extension 2 with the uppercut.
Big bust out. Could have been real bad. Could have been a drive gauge depletion and deletion of health right after. Sweet, can't do that. Heavy kick. I like that as a punish. Don't let that go for free. Too close. And again, here's the depletion of that drive gauge. Health about to be gone too as well. Could go for like walk up heavy kick or OD fireball or stand fierce. Drive rush jab instead. I like that sequence. Interrupts the go right kick. Neutral jump didn't go for the jump fierce or jump heavy kick. Actually, might have worked even better. Does catch him lacking with the command grab off the teleport.
No way he gets his back. He gets his drive gauge all the way back for free, essentially. But it is one touch
we find out,
for either player.
We'll find out Kawano's Noah, bro. Drive rush will take it, though. You see the counter hit. So I don't know what Kawano tried to do, but it was a little too late on the draw right there.
A little bit tough to manage, right? Especially with what came through via the drive rush from Kosa. But either way, it is tied up. Very close in terms of momentum, though. I do appreciate Kosa's patience once he maintains the life lead, but Kawano, he's been doing a great job of slowly bringing it back. It's very hotly contested and very unpredictable. But we are going to see a lot of the pressure coming in after that throw. Perhaps no, he's going to just stick by it, throw some of these fireballs as well to check the approach from Kosa. And to gain that estate back, again, the fireballs ringing out for Kosa, understandable. Little by little, has to gain as much estate as possible to push Kawano into the corner. Can he do it, though?
Pretty hard. Sticks in the crouching medium kick after that jab. Typical to catch people walking back. Or a medium kick, no counter it, though. Oh, crouching medium kick, counter hit, enhanced Tatsu. Wants the Oki and the corner carry, the throw. Drive rush, the fake out. Now something off the shimmy, using the crouch fear starter. A lot of damage dumped out here.
Just at the tip to the low four. This guy's footsies are insane. Side switch into the forward throw. Charging up the fireball all the way through. Kosa not going to stand by and take it. Instead, big patience, the big counter poke. Crouching medium punch from Kosa. Maximum mileage out of that as well. That was for the round. Now look at that match point. Flashing the parry right in front of Kawano like that. Grants the big punish counter. A lot of damage to start things off. But Kawano testing the waters again. Slowing the pace down. Standing light kick.
All these fireballs set up for more. Poking away. Taking away health. Slowly dog walking into the corner. Allowing for other buttons to be utilized too as well. On both sides. But for Kosa, it's one of those things where he has to expend OD again to go bad for bad against the fireballs, or he'll just use that walk speed and other buttons. Kind of switch it up a little bit. Watching the kick doesn't hit. There's the ODDP bust out. Also getting braver and braver against drive rush, and the conversions right after. Level 3 just yet.
Yeah, I had to keep it tight too. But great defense coming from the side of Kosa, especially after the drive rush medium punch. By default, that's already +1, man. That's a really, really tough guess for Kosa. I love the jump back medium too. I love that. The attempt to possibly get that side switch. Kawano, he's actually deader than dead. Way past the life bar. 3 bars. And what a come to. At the very first game, it looked rather grim for Kosa. But the adjustments made, totally worth it and played out very well. An explosive game for Kosa for a big W. Now, there's no longer a possibility for good 8 squad to get a giant lead. There's no longer a way for either of these teams to go into the tiebreaker. Very interesting predicament for these two teams now.
Now, I do like these first ones. I do like these first deaths. I like the storyline behind it. I like more action. But I also like seeing it be a 30-10 sometimes, not a complete blowout. It didn't be a blowout. It wasn't a blowout here, especially with the adaptations we saw from Kosa. Being able to slow down someone like Kawano was absolutely ridiculous. Some unfortunate mistakes like that drive impact just not reaching. But you saw him get better and better against dealing with drive rush, and he was already kind of committed to that overhead. He made, the magic happen off of that. But I like him taking advantage of, like, okay, you're looking for certain things, maybe an OD fireball. I'll just be the fireball myself, drive rush throw. And then again, going against the drive rushes with crouching medium punch, going for his own jabs, pressure up in the corner, having the bar at the bottom to dump out, fantastically done. Kosa slowing someone like Kawano down shows quite a bit of confidence and ideation about how to fight Akuma. Listen, you may have fought the other kids, you may have practiced with them, but you ain't fight Kosa, aka Kaba. Kabe, I'm sorry, I forgot his other names. He's got like 5 other names. Whether it may be, you have not fought a cut like this. 10 to 10 now. Who do you send up? You said Gira, and I agree.
I'm very uncertain.
I still stick with that.
I don't think Gachikun would put himself in this kind of position. The only time I would think that he would is him thoroughly practicing for this matchup and feeling that much more confident than the last couple of Bisons he played off against. But who knows?
Really?
It is going to be Gachikun coming up to play.
Right. I guess he's been in the lab, he's been in the Hyperbolic Time Chamber, training out this character. I would assume in terms of like the matchup. I've watched Big Bird play this matchup, and I watched how difficult it was to deal with the things that you mentioned. The headphones, the OD Cycle Crusher at full screen, and someone like Gachikun likes to poke with fireballs. If you take that away from him, he has to use the drive gauge to poke with, the buttons and things like that. Bison excels in the neutral over Rashid, unless Rashid's using drive gauge, so that's going to be kind of problematic for not only Gachikun's playstyle, but for Rashid overall. And I do feel like as this matchup develops, I don't want to say Bison beats Rashid, but like cleanly, but maybe Bison has like a slight advantage. Every time I watch this matchup develop, especially like nowadays, with the things that you mentioned previously, it really, even playing the matchup feels like there are more things as Bison can get off continuously than Rashid. Yes, Rashid can put him in the corner, to cook him there. But does it happen often, especially in the first of three? I don't know.
I think one of the more common strategies that have been talked about currently in the meta all over the world is what characters fight well against the level 2. Majority of the time, it's none of them, right? I don't think a lot of characters have that type of invulnerability to pass a giant wall of a fireball. Guess what? Bison does. So every single setup that Gachikun can do has to be off of, or has to be pretty tight, right? There can't be a distance between Rashid and the fireball too much, because then Bison would be able to kind of traverse past it with OD Cycle Crusher. That's a pretty big deal. Rashid also wouldn't freely be able to initiate his offense with the enhancements of the Isar, right? You can't really like dash forward or use like a spinning mixer, because if the Bison player reacts to it appropriately, they'll still be able to punish and Cycle Crusher through, right? So I think this is the first ever time we get to really see a counterplay towards such an impactful super art, right? So I will say, if there's any sort of advantage that Bison does have in the matchup, is being able to contest against level 2, Rashid's level 2, in ways that other characters cannot.
Yes. Even when Rashid does have some counterplay, it's so situational, it's so hard to find the right spacing. Like I've seen Gachikun go for like drive impact, and he goes for the OD Cycle Crusher, he'll back up and go for drive impact, but the timing's really tight. You have to hope they also land on the win for like a follow-up or like a doubling of damage. And again, like you're looking out for that moment. He may not even do that. He may wait for a little bit. As you dash up, you might get hit with the OD Cycle Crusher. There's so much ease to traverse the level 2 that they don't have to worry as much compared to the Rashid player being like, okay, I have to calculate distance to DP, to OD anti, whatever it may be. And that may be an issue. However, if there's someone who is going to be able to cook in this matchup, who's going to be able to ID after losing to KB, as mentioned in his interview, it's going to be someone like Gachikun. Here we go, anchor match for 30 points in total. Let's go.
Ooh. Smoke that scissor kick, man. That's one of the things you have to look out for too. As any player against Bison, you will often see Bison players kind of steal neutral with that scissor kick. So I'm loving the tenacity right now coming in from Gachikun. I'm loving the attention to the details leading up to his ridiculous offense thus far. And look at this life lead. He is going to be walking away with it.
Trade, we'll take that. So that's the lead. Crouching light kick at that distance. Perfect drive rush tool. And one thing I want to mention is against the drive rush of Bison, which is the Usain Bolt, he's got the stop sign, the stand medium kick. Call that the dual Kevin.
Yeah, dual Kevin is ridiculous, using medium kick and also roundhouses for big punish counters. I think that kid is, I still call him a kid, right? Because I'm a little bit older, but I still think he's amazing with those normals, truly. Oh, that is a giant and significant punish at that, because you get to set up for the level 2.
His knockdowns. We have to confirm like into a crouch twist for level 2 to really work out against his character. Throw up in the corner. Let's get the enhancement. Doesn't need it. Back though, it's a punish counter as well. Kakaru can really make something happen here. Start with the throw, plus on whiff. He's able to get the counter hit scissor kick.
Ooh. Sweet chin music, dear God. Yeah, set him up. Not gonna kill. And it's not even gonna take away the drive gauge. A very interesting decision from Kakaru, a slight miscalculation perhaps. Unless he's feeling very confident with this amount of life left on the side of Gachikun, and he does feel confident. Counter hit ringing out with a stand jab. One of the better stand jabs that anybody could ask for coming in from the Dictator. Nice work.
Like the bar at the bottom comes down to biting me. I can't throw out the fireballs. Gachikun loves to establish with the fireballs as like a poke tool. Get the knockdown though. Hexa throw. Yeah, looking for whenever he's not charging or whenever it looks like he's not charging at the very least. Empty crouching middle kick, gets a drive rush hit. Watch a fireball right after it. Text for Kakaru.
Yeah, being able to apply the bomb is so significant now. It forces Gachikun to play completely honest. Oh, you thought you could get the whiff throw or any sort of throw. OD head stomp instead, says otherwise. Yeah, and forcing that burnout too. So much damage to the drive gauge with that OD Cycle Crusher. But now, it's gonna be all movement for the side of Gachikun. First game to him, level 3. How often do we get to see this? Not ever.
DLC Super. Gachikun able to use that Eagle Spike in the super to seal the deal. But I'm kind of weirded out that we did see a jump over though from Kakaru. You know, putting yourself in the corner, especially as Bison, even if you do have the lead or have the bar to work with, dangerous proposition, especially against the likes of Rashid. So we'll see if we can clean up a little bit and maybe stay a little bit more front facing. Nice stand fierce, counter it combo, OD scissor kick, the bomb right after it.
Oh my God. Just harassing it with normals. So much damage to the drive gauge and also the big payout towards the end with a counter hit from the side of Gachikun, the man with the most immaculate defense we could ask for within the roster.
Not done yet though. Back to mid-screen. Charge up fireball for some variance. Stops the dash up. Oh, didn't complete the combo. Maybe didn't want to expend any more drive gauge to put himself in burnout. So it makes sense. Has to hold parry now. Or get aggressive to get the bar back even faster.
Oh. Gets the exposure down below. Does get a frame kill. Tried to attempt an assassination against Kakaru. He did do the proper frame kill, but walked back ever so slightly to see whether or not Kakaru would go for a throw. With attempt, but now Gachikun does get the first strike into the level 2. What are you going to do on defense? Backs himself into the corner 2, forward medium punch. Not going to be quite answered because of the fact that the tornado was right on top of it.
Not too much damage, but positional advantage is important here, especially against Bison. Locked up in the corner, but the offense is better. Drive rush back throw. Never mind. Counter it off the jabs, gets a crouching medium punch as her kick pressure continuously. Delay crouching medium punch, does not find the mark. Actually is able to recover. I think it's like 17 frames of recovery, so quicker than you might think off that stand fierce. Bomb about to go off that heavy kick. Hella plus right now. Did he find an entry point? He does. He gets a counter combo. Stand fierce level 2. Knew level 3 wasn't gonna kill. Wants to keep the bar in the pocket for a rainy day or a windy day, depending on.
Right, we might see the wind in just a bit, right? That's a punish counter. Does get to extend the combo. Not quite level 2, not the route, but this could set him up greatly. Level 2 now. Truly saving it for a windy day. Let's see what the defense is like. Bison might be able to cycle his way out, but we'll see. The parry is there, and so is the rest of the defense too. The good call of the back throw. Gachikun wasn't expecting it. Overhead too far away.
One more touch. That's that medium kick. The closer. Air-to-air jump back, fade away. The layup is perfect from the side of Kakaru. But man, the defense in the corner hasn't even been that OD Cycle Crusher, but I think he's like playing around the idea of doing that. You see a little bit of hesitation in every situation that level 2 does come out from Gachikun, which makes sense. Why we mentioned, there's ways to pass through it. And Kakaru just get like a counter hit jab or a drive rush jab back throw. He's able to take advantage of like that slight hesitation that Gachikun has, and it's been working out to get the side switch. and also put Gachikun on the back foot. I like the way he's playing around the idea of level 2, not just how to beat it, but the idea of how to just stay solid against it.
I'm loving this back and forth too. There's so many high-level reads from both ends to see who's going to flinch first. Now, we hailed Gachikun as having some of the best defense in the business. Kakudo right now is really stepping up to that challenge, specifically in this matchup, to show that his defense is going to be just as patient, it's going to be just as meticulous, it's going to be just as read-based, if need be, against some of the things that Gachikun has presented, right? It's no easy feat to stop somebody like Gachikun from thinking the next step over and still having the defense for it, right? I still think Gachikun can find so many different ways to break a person's defense, but Gachikun, he is right there with him right now. And it's very exciting to see this one-on-one.
The back four definitely getting better and better. You see also Gachikun being able to place a few more fireballs more often. Yeah, we've seen an OD Cycle Crusher get through one of those, or two. But when that fireball game gets established a little bit more, which you still have to do, you can't take it off the table completely. Along with drive rush buttons, I think it'll help in terms of approaching that aggression that Kakudo wants to do, preemptively interrupting. That may make the back and forth happen here. We'll see what happens. Game to game so far. Drive rush medium to start off the party, knockdown with the Oki. Trying to catch that walk back. I like that sequencing. And the throw for the extra sauce. Another one. An overhead now? No, crouching medium punch to the plus raise. Perfect parry. And the back throw right after. He's had enough.
A little bit tough to kind of get out of the corner. Majority of the time, Gachikun was just trying to create space for himself. I don't know what that was, or what the attempt was, in fact. But Kakudo not gonna let him get away with it. Gachikun, he's still thinking about it. What am I supposed to do out of this corner?
Wow. Offensive style sort of drive reverse to stay in the corner while perfect parry. Perfectly done with the scissor kicks. Hard for the character to punish. You have to go for light punch. They have to be hella close. Finally, overhead lands. He's been looking for fireballs, and while you're ducking, you're getting blessed. The overhead and the level 1 to put him the rest. I like that. Throw out a few fireballs. Give him the intention of the possibility of hitting that OD Cycle Crusher, and while he tries to charge or duck a little bit, hit him with the overhead. Up around. Beautiful interruption. Oki this time does catch a throw. Finally, up in the corner.
Oh, look at this too. Again, being able to just kind of like drag it all away with the life lead and really slow down the pace and force Kakudo to move on centimeter by centimeter, it feels like. Punish counter. Okay, this is a very significant turnaround now with the damage output that he gets, and also with the Cycle Mine. Kakudo now gets to show off his explosive offense. Speaking of explosions, does get parried. Gachikun not going to fall susceptible to the Cycle Mine, but we'll see if Kakudo falls susceptible to the level 2 dashing through the winds, and we talked about that, being able to get through it. If you were too far away from your projectile, best believe Bison players will be throwing out OD Cycle Crusher to get past it.
100%. Gachikun still has a lead. Perfect parry to stand medium kick. As a slight punish. I think he was aiming for the drive gauge. He'll take that though. That sequence puts Gachikun in burnout. Dead angle against his character. Hard for him to air. Hard knockdown. Back throw. Enough to kill. Gachikun caught a punish counter.
That was hella damage. Yeah, that was at the very last second. I didn't realize it said punish counter. That is so much extra damage.
Round 1. This could be it. Gachikun on game point. I like that he's been adding more jump-ins. You know, there's a dead angle like where crouch fears don't reach. We can't go for the air-to-airs. At least not without a lot of prediction, right? Does have a reaction against the fireballs though. Ready, lets it rip. We scissor kick overhead, back fist, and plant the bomb.
Oh, what a time to counter poke with the crouch medium punch. Gachikun again stuck towards the wall now. His back absolutely shattered as he gets thrown into it. Now Kakudo looking to make the statement. Already off to a very fast round, I would say. A lot more of an aggressive chase down style too. Okay. I like that interrupt there coming in. Okay, and also the crouching medium punch. That was the counter hit too from the side of Gachikun. Set him up. The mix.
throw. Damage is racking up. Do we hit the level 1? Do we take all these throws? You can't take another one. What's gonna happen? The attack finally comes through. The next throw does not connect, but it's a one-touch scenario. The overhead. OD. I like that from Gachiku. Take back your turn. Scissor kick does hit light kick. You get the bomb right after on the counter hit. Overhead, he blocks it out. Bomb is on though. But Gachiku, yeah, just find a walk back. I like to do this without spinning any bar at the bottom, but he'll just use the bar at the top to make him drop. OD! Spinning mixer, set point Gachiku.
I think that could have been a potential highlight reel had Kakeru blocked it, but still, the match isn't even close to over just yet. We're still looking at match point for Gachikun. There's the level 2, the destruction and doom. What a time to back throw! Jeez! Beautifully done, but it didn't lead to anything else. That's unfortunate. Gachikun right back in it with the momentum. No parry against the Arabian Cyclone from the block string.
Cycle with the crouching meter kick. Ends it with the bomb, drive rush overhead. No, it's a throw. I've been seeing a lot more throws from him when the bomb has been implanted, even afterwards. But the interruption, the side switch, using the OD to put him through another mix, another blender of a level 2. No crouching meter punch in the OD. I could have got him outside the corner. Now he's having to hold all this damage. Gachiku with the victory, with the OD finisher from his own side of things. God. There could have been a crouching medium punch into OD Cycle Crusher had Kakeru had the charge to let him stay in the game for a little bit longer, but the optimization in that corner situation led him to the cemetery. It is Gachikun taking it for his team, 30-10. Beautifully done.
That, you know, I wish I was the guest for the warm-up for today. If they would ask me what my most exciting match would be, it would be that one. That was easily some of the most meticulous matchup-specific games I have ever seen between Rashid and Bison. And Rashid and Bison is going to be a very, very common matchup in the current meta, considering how strong and powerful they are in the Capcom Pro Tour. This might just be the highest example of how that matchup is going to be played out in the future. Insane outcome, by the way, with Gachikun maintaining his focus and getting the W overall.
I 100% agree. Like, the fact that he's able to bring back the fireballs where other people probably couldn't as much and apply those pokes. The fact that he's able to find the dead zone for the jump every so often as well, which helped lead to success in terms of putting on more variation, in terms of what Bison has to look out for. The fact that he was weathering the storm against the bombs, and even though we saw Kakeru throwing out more throws, instead of buttons, instead of drive rush button continuously over and over again, it was like throw pressure and switching it up. And how he was operating with level 2, even though it got OD Cycle Crusher through every so often, and using that to put pressure on and being like, I'm not looking to damage him, I'm looking to put him on the back foot and add more mental stack to him. I agree. I think this is an example of, if you're a Rashid player, how to fight that matchup, but also as a Bison player, there are a lot of things you could take from that matchup, especially at the very beginning, that Kakeru was doing to evolve your own game plans against Rashid. Like, I've done a few notes myself, because I struggle in this matchup still, but it's great to see the fact that both these two characters and how these players are playing, like, this is the evolution of the meta that you want to see. That's why it's so great to see this stuff live.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to take away from both ends as to how both players got opened up, and also what the characters themselves are capable of doing in certain situations. There's so much gold just based off of that matchup alone. So I think for a long while to come, I think there's going to be a lot of players that are going to be highlighting this matchup going forward, because this is everything for a lot of the players in CPT, right? Being able to like get this download, especially for the Rashid players. Guess what? The Rashid stock rising up, baby, just based off of that performance. Well, maybe there's gonna be some down players gonna be like, you know, Gachikun just happened to play really good that day, which is also true, which is very true. There are moments where the player just happened to outshine the other on certain days, right? It doesn't necessarily mean it'll be like the end-all be-all for that matchup, but damn, this is a great example. Such a great example. We had another good example of that from YHC Mochi as well, facing off against the Ed player Sasamo, right? There are moments where, like, I feel like YHC Mochi really exemplified the control archetype, right? The spacing archetype. That was actually really, really well played. And Kawano, man, both Kosa and Kawano, those guys are mad patient. I think that was a very fun watch to match, despite it being a little bit more slow paced than people are used to. Most people see Ken, most people see Akuma, their screen explodes, right? Right off the bat. So seeing it played out in that fashion was a masterpiece. This is easily one of my favorite matches thus far in the entirety of the league, right? Fukushima Ibushigen and Good 8 Squad. What a toss-up it's been.
Even though it's 30-10, I definitely agree in terms of like the matchup, in terms of like the quality that we've gotten, especially like a slow-paced matchup with Ken, where a lot of people would say Ken has got to get aggressive. He's got to like walk forward, use the crouching unit kick to combat against the walk speed. We don't really see that from Kosa. A lot of just I'm gonna wait, I'm gonna be in the right distance, I'm gonna slowly walk him down, parry the fireballs whenever I can. Anyway, enough of my yapping. Let's talk about the interview. Pugera said, respecting the order and the match was very perfect. Kakadu said, Kakadu was really strong, I'm sorry, and it was a close game, but our leader was just great. They're talking about Gachikun there. Wachimochi says, for my game, I was able to win, and that was great. The Anchor game was just exciting to watch. So they also shared that same sort of elation in terms of how the matchup went and how exciting that was. Kawano says, I have a lot of things to fix today. I should have played more freely. I left the chat bored, probably. You know, I'm going to say this, Kawano. As long as you win, who cares what the chat says? I know people say that about God when he comes on the screen and stuff like that. When Knuckle comes up, he's just Sonic Boom, Sonic Boom. But that's how he's able to get the W. I feel like you can't play at that pace with Kosa. I would like to see Kawano be that, you know, sort of freeness with the demon flips and things like that we usually see him have. The freeness of going into burnout where he's okay to be in burnout, have that defense. We saw it a little bit, but we didn't see it all the way through that match. So that confidence that we usually see from him was actually transferred over to Kosa. But Gachikun says, I really trained for Bison, especially helped by Nemo. So I thank him for that help.
That's kind of crazy, considering they're both in the same division. I think that's a great sign of like a professional player's attitude of being able to, or like mentality of asking somebody even within the same league to play along with you and figure out how like the matchup is done, because it only like pushes that boundary for both, right? It's like having, you know, another example, obviously the Birds, either of them facing off against each other, or either of the Birds facing off against Punk. They want to make sure that they lift each other up. Same with Meta. Meta's always about that, right? He'll never duck from having like sessions with Japanese professionals, some of his close friends, even those from the DR as well, as long as like he's able to level himself up in the process too, right? So really cool to see that Gachikun is willing to reach out to other players like that are in the exact same division. So with that in mind, towards the end, his interview, last time I played against Bison, I noticed I would have to play on the away side, so I want to make sure the other team hesitates with their Bisons when it comes to facing off against me. So he was really happy to get the W that he was looking for today, and I would be just as elated. This is a matchup that is currently haunting a lot of other Rashid players in terms of like the stock value and whatever results have been happening thus far. So it's very interesting to see this kind of come to light and see that it comes down to like an almost even matchup.
We felt like it, despite the score being what it is, definitely saw the back and forth. Like that crouching medium punch, had he buffered, he was already walking forward, so unfortunately he wasn't able to have the charge. But had he went into OD Psycho Crusher, he might have been able to get outside that distance. But those are split-second decisions that just can't always happen. 30-10, Good 8 Squad continues their lead. That is 150 in totality. Fukushima Ibushigen gets 105 now. So not super far behind, but that gap is widening. We've seen this before with Good 8 Squad taking a big lead before the second half even starts and just continuing with it. And then they're there at the top. But of course, this just means that they're going to be at the playoffs more than just they're further in the grand finale. You know, we are changing things up. It's 3 teams for the playoffs. and then they fight it out, and then the top teams from there move on to fight each other, and then we have our grand finale from that. So a little different this season, so that doesn't mean the complete domination, but it is good to see them continue that same sort of powerhouse that they had previously in other seasons. Last season was not their season, didn't have the characters, didn't have their strategies, didn't have their confidence, but now they're looking like the goodest boys in the business.
As they further their lead currently with 150 points. Good 8 squad currently and still going to be in the first place position as they get into the second half. Whereas Fukushima Ibushigen finally breaking the 100-point barrier, it allows us to set up for the next couple of matches, but not before we get to hear from those that have been supporting Street Fighter League Japan thus far. One of those big partnerships, obviously, the game Street Fighter Duel, now available with a big collaboration with a handful of different games. Funny enough, they have a collaboration with their own game. Street Fighter 6, Luke has made it into the roster, ladies and gentlemen, and currently available. And in regards to that as well, we have the Street Fighter League Pro JP viewing party t-shirts. I do believe they're going to be available to the Western audience as well via a couple of the links. I think it's going to be on their Amazon store like they usually do have it for the Capcom Esports division. So keep your eyes and ears tuned to the streets if you guys want to check it out. Capcom_esports for all the details in regards to how to pick up your own shirt. If you guys hit either of us up to Seikola or myself, we'll be sure to contact one of the folks over at Capcom Esports to figure out which link can direct all of you guys as well to pick up a shirt. And we highly encourage you guys to do so, man. Dude, the artwork on this bad boy is sick. Absolutely sick.
It looks so cool. I'm so jealous. I definitely am going to go pick some up soon. Also, I picked up Dead Rising. That game's ridiculous. That game is super sick. Check out Tokyo Game Show, all the cool Capcom stuff that is going on. It's a really good time to be a fighting game fan and a Capcom fan. Obviously, Marvel Collection is out there, as the Wazzler is out there too as well. So watch out for him on the streets of any sort of platform. It's going to be out there at Stage Jam Slam, so you get a little bit of a break. But again, a lot of cool stuff going on with Street Fighter League, with just Street Fighter in general, all around the board, all across the board. And speaking of Street Fighter League, that Nation Focus League Saishun Kansou Komoto is our next match coming up. Now, these are two bottom teams. I can't believe I'm saying this considering the pedigree we had last season. They were in that top spot last time, but now they're in the bottom rungs, especially that Nation Focus Me, with only a handful of points to their name. I'm very, very shocked and surprised to see this.
Yeah, that's definitely a shared sentiment for sure. One thing's for certain, again, after this, again, we talked about this being the halfway point. This is going to be a very special time too, because after this, we're going to take a little bit of a break for a week because of the fact that Tokyo Game Show right around the corner with a lot of exclusive goodies that are currently in Japan and attending the game show. I'm going to try to sneak in there myself and try to get past the actual cops and not the Cap cops and figure out a way to get some of the cool merch. But as it stands right now, again, Tokyo Game Show is going to be happening next weekend. Keep your eyes and ears peeled to the streets over at Capcom Fighters or Capcom_esports for all of the details of the things that are coming out from the world of Capcom. With that in mind, again, so many big things happening in the world of gaming for Capcom and also in the realm of fighting games in general, right? So really, really cool to see all the new stuff that's coming out, but more excited to see match number 2 coming your way right after this break. We will continue on with match 5 in Division S right after this. Stay tuned.
デトネーションフォーカスミー対最春関する熊本の模様をお届けしてまいります。さあこちら再開は約10分後の20時19分頃を予定しております。それでは一旦失礼いたします。
Yeah, yeah, come on. Everybody come alive real quick. Battle of the strong, survival of the fit. Take your best shot, hope you don't miss. I ain't never scared, never quitting is the motto. Yeah, yeah, come on. Everybody come alive real quick. Battle of the strong, survival of the fit. Take your best shot, hope you don't miss. Among us. Take it much farther. Fast with the hands, E Honda. Defend my legacy with strength and honor. I'm the greatest ever. It's a showdown. This is my arena.
まあ駒投げ食らっても精神を落ち着かせて、心を落ち着かせて頑張って勝ちたいなと思います。
駒投げは一応ねあるがそこなんだな。
おお最高しのげそう。おいしいよいしょ。お親しげだなんてしちゃう。好きなんだよな。でもさ本当に昔から大好きです。起動している。おおすごい。おいしい。おい。
でも SA2 がある状況。飛び込んだ。上からリターンを狙いに行く。
おお行く。SA2。このバーリーダーの弾力。なんだこれは。なんだリーダーの弾力。おどうなの？弾力大事すぎ。メテオリティス打つかどうかですねこれは。いやこれはね力強いわ。見ました。
これの体力あまりない。カウンター。
これはわかんない。そう。わかんない。
SA1 だ。残るか。それでも十分素直な投げ。
おおやったー。強すぎた。いやーでけー。
Weekly Street Fighter League Japan Detonation Focus League Machabo
踏み込み絶妙な間合い。ドライブインパクト。
ゲージも回収しつつ、
オーディ混合。オーディ
球打ちづらい。
ドライブゲージ。なるほど削りにかんだんか。さあ上に飛ぶと難しいのでシュートを重ねてパリを持ってった。
オーディアの
時間を稼いでまだ耐えれないか。しのりだ。上下がりきってる。うまい。見てる。スパークを割り込んでいく。
そうですね。まあフリッカーだとしても割り込めるようにダメージも近かったですもんね。
さあこれでマチャボ逆にマッチポイント。オーディハドこの前い
動けない。
まだ残るが投げ。これ以上は耐えられない。もう一度勇気を持ってパリを押すが展開を早くしていく。ベテランの勝負感。
Back with more Street Fighter League action here on the official restreams. Myself, Sankola, joined with Vicious. Let's get into our second match of the day. Detonation Focus Me versus Saishun Console Kumamoto. Let's start off with the away team. Mr. Octomao, shout out to Yipes, shout out to Macho, coming back with the Akuma, getting aerial and down and dirty with the Doki. After that is going to be the trickiest one, the Trickster himself. Always has something for you. On the Rashid, John Takeuchi, who's been putting people on notice with that character and his deadly level 2 mix-ups. And after that, Triple Jinra, he'll always let it fly. Evo Japan champion Nauman on the Fiery Kid. Last but not least, if you're hungry, he's got you. Itabashi Zangief, aka the meal ticket. Hopefully we get to see him come to play, especially considering his rival is on the other side. This team is at the bottom rung, considering what has happened in the previous season. Kind of surprising to see. We'll see if we get the victory and gain some points and get a lead.
It's so funny seeing him pick one of the facial expressions from the characters. But either way, let's talk about the opposition. This is Saishun Console Kumamoto, a team full of shining stars. But can they bring the heat? As we have pretty much reminded ourselves, they're currently in the 5th place position. Right, these guys are full of super geniuses, but right now the calculations have not pulled through for them just yet. However, there's still a whole nother half to play. Let's take a look at the whole team, starting with the attack on heavy tank. That is Furo. I can't wait to go to Kakambo later, brother. That is his big recommendation here in Japan. But up next, Daigo Umehara, the living legend, the beast himself, as well on this team. Followed by one of the prodigies of the FGC, one of the young guns, and also picked up by Daigo Umehara, co-founded Higuchi. Followed by the leader, the Brute King, the Violence Emperor, Nemo-san. Coming into the big rivalry has been established. We talk about this time and time again in regards to the lore. Nemo and Itabashi, they're truly the best of friends. They have so much history with and against each other. You can see it already. The Violence Emperor staring down the opposition from the leader's side. He is already gunning for my man, Itabashi Zangief.
Every time I talk to Itabashi, I'm like, so you want to hang out with Nemo? He's like, don't ever talk to me or mention his name in my presence again. Now, that all being said, I want to see Nemo come out. Please, please. Nemo even said he's preparing for Itabashi, or the possibility to have to fight Itabashi in this season. I mean, what choice you have depending on the matchup. I want to see Nemo come up. Not just because, obviously, it'd be fun to see. But he does have the JP. He's been getting that character unrested and prepared for certain matchups. I still think that JP is still good against Keith. I don't think it's as dominant as it used to be. You can definitely contest against his buttons, but the fireball pressure, the zoning, it's still there. It's still difficult to use.
はい、先方はフード、エドクラシック。
Dang! Dang you, Nemo! You're ducking!
Man, come on, dude. You gotta do it for the storyline. What are you doing? You're going off script, Nemo. And you already know, like, Aru-san and Haitani are probably like, man, that's not what we expected at all. I would assume. Scratch my head. Anyways, it's going to be entertaining. Nonetheless, right, it's going to be Zangief, who's been getting a lot of stock upwards and onwards lately due to Cream City Convergence with the big W from NRD and the overall changes coming in from the patch notes. However, Ed also on a very, very steady climb. It took a little bit to get that character established, but once he did, man, this character has been skyrocketing through the charts on its way to top 5, knocking on that door. So regardless, with this matchup in hand, is going to be venturing into still relatively new territory. I don't get to see this often, at least in the Western side. I don't get to see it too often from like the European side as well. So very interesting.
Yeah, the most we get to see is like what you mentioned with Cream City, like Ramsey versus Ending Walker. Ending Walker, whenever he has to play against NRD, and the selection is Geef. It's very rare to see this as a continuous thing. So I wonder how the matchup goes. You know, I remember Chris posting about how it's a difficult matchup for Ed. I don't know how much that is true, and that was weeks away. So I want to see how this goes down. Itabashi says, I played against Fudo, but he betrayed us, or he played with them, I'm sorry. He played with Fudo, but he betrayed us and went to Nemo's side, but I'll win here. That's a crazy statement. Itabashi is like, hey man, you a traitor? With these hands now, or these grips.
Sometimes it be your own. The closest to you, the one's gonna betray you. Fudo has zero remorse, by the way. I don't think he feels in any way, shape, or form guilty or negative towards that. I think he's just here to play and win, right? So we'll see, man. Fudo having a couple of words for himself as well as his team, or actually for the other team. So. Okay, so a little bit of the talking, Fudo does say, Detonation is a team who comes up from the second half of the season, and that is historically correct, as he was a part of that team. However, it will not be that way this season. Fudo throwing out the fighting words against his former teammates, his former Taisho, his former captain. That's gonna be, man, it sucks to see them fighting like this. It really does. It should have been Nemo. It should have been Nemo.
It should have been Nemo, bro. It would have been such a good match. I think overall, also, like, maybe like a more dominant match with like Nemo going up with JP, but maybe he stayed for a little bit later. Either way, former teammates now turn enemies, going at each other. Fudo and Itabashi. We'll see how this matchup develops to 1-2, so not a lot of time to grind. Will the gambler walk away with the majority of the points in his pocket, or will Fudo's aggression work out?
That slight stare down or the slight walk-up greeting, I felt like, you know, Itazan was he might have been within like light punch SPD range, but that's still terrifying. Right. Punching away at the human sandbag. I feel like if you were to really like weigh it out, I think Zangief might be the equivalent of like maybe 3 sandbags put together.
Yeah, I'd say 4 with that help. Even after this, he's still alive. He holds onto the gauge. Fudo keeps the bar at the bottom. Interrupted with the. What happens with that sandbag fights back, bro? Hits him with the level 2. Spin cycle on max.
The sandbag is now a playable character.
Yeah.
It's wild.
With punish, stand medium kick. Does not get the fault that he wanted though. Could have been worse. Off that kill switch. Go again.
Now we talk about a lot of the ranges that Ed usually likes to play out with both his normals and his flicker as well. It's been rather uncomfortable thus far for Itazan, despite getting an advantage, sort of an advantage with Ed and Burnout. It didn't lead to the situations that Itazan was looking for, right?
Not so far. ODDP, the confidence, had more than help. If that would have led to a bad transaction, would have been fine. Money in the bank. Round around right now. Fudo taking a giant lead, being able to outfocus Skepta continuously, interrupt quite a bit. Hits the OD after that stand light kick, does not want to have to guess after any sort of SPD throw or strike. The drive rush finds a stand fierce, speed bag into level 2. You're on borrowed time.
So deadly with this character. Fudo just a couple of strikes away, perhaps maybe a throw with a punish counter. Speaking of throws, double, German suplex. Damn, letting the rip. OD uppercut, the risk assessment in favor of Fudo, willing to take that gamble and also take that game. 1-0 for the side of Saishun-kan Seoul Kumamoto, who currently have the lead against the team Detonation Focus Me with a 30-point lead to be exact, now slowly increasing. Maybe perhaps there might be a timeline where Saishun-kan Seoul Kumamoto could break it into the 100-point range.
This is a nasty lick back considering what had happened last season, where Detonation took it over Saishun-kan Seoul Kumamoto. Looking for their revenge, kill blitz, Oki right after it. Try and strike back has not worked out. We do get the knockdown. As Speedy too close to me after that jump in. The damage is equalized. but Fudo is just not carrying it all. The stand medium kick, it confirms the ODDPs, everything looking at Fudo. He is on set point with the quickness.
Ooh, a giant whip punish and a half too. Being able to get that throw bait, but fully capitalizing on it, as Fudo does, is remarkable too. The damage output, the spacing that you're left at afterwards, not even trying to pursue Oki, just trying to really play out the game that Ed really has the advantage in, which is the spacing game. Boom, level 3. Speaking of speed bags, no sandbags, excuse me. Back to your old job, Zangief.
He is still warm. Fudo with a lot of bar to work with. Drive rush throw. He breaks though. He just can't take too much more. A stand light kick. Try to go for the drive. Drive rush instead of drive impact. Take advantage of this. Itabashi can't take too many hits though. It's like a one touch. Could be an instant overhead. Drive impact does get the splat. Go for level 3? I don't think so. He does. He has to expend it, I guess, to stay in the game. This makes sense, but no level 3 in the 3rd round. Kind of unfortunate.
Damn, my loyal fans, dude. That I love the actual like critical art version of his super in comparison. The damage, or also like the animation, is just so much more impactful.
Personally, being able to kill rush back, gain that distance that he wants, punish counter, knockdown off the kill. And here's OD. The distance that he is at the mid-range has been insane. Wake up SPD, not gonna happen. No free hugs. Hits him with the super to seal a perfect KO. You're no longer a friend of me, you my enemy, says Fudo. He takes him down 2-0, 10 points. Saishin Kansou, Kumamoto.
Nah, that felt a little personal, man. That felt a little bit too brutal. You know, Fudo just wiping his hands clean of the dirt and the blood. Itazan still dazed and confused. I don't know what's going on in his brain right now, but it's probably Ed's fist going right through there, because that was a slaughter. That was manslaughter. It was unnecessary.
Man, I think maybe this matchup might be a little bit in favor of Ed, but the way that he plays it is so smart. He'll build up the bar as much as possible, he'll end things with level 3, get a lead, and then take it from there. There was only one moment where it kind of didn't work, but that led to He does not having to spend that level 3 for the super. Last round was his. But him keeping the drive gauge has been a thing that Fudo has been proponent in since season 1 with DJ. We see it with this character, with Ed. And it's worked out in terms of keeping the bar, drive rushing up right after. This guy's clean. Now, 10 points. Saishin Kansou Kumamoto, how do you continue that sort of pressure? Who do you send up?
Yo, Nemo's got to be feeling great about that pick. He's like, yeah, I'm actually pretty godlike. So, with how good I'm feeling, it makes sense for me to go next, and that's exactly what he's doing. Nemo stepping up to the plate for the second match as Bison with Classic.
Okay. I like this, though. We just heard Gachikun and him training, practicing, so he's got to take away quite a bit of things in that matchup himself. I'm sure that he was like, wait a minute, I've learned how to work out in this matchup too as well. I'm sure he watched the previous match and saw maybe what was going down in Kakuru's mind that was wrong, and that he could maybe adjust on his own side of things. However, the way that Noah plays is a little bit more on the aggressive side. A lot more aggressive, a lot riskier in terms of like reversals. He'll wake up super a lot more. He'll sweep on wake up too as well. He'll do things that you don't really expect. He wants to play that one-player game as soon as possible and whatever it takes. You'll see a lot of bomb implants. You see a lot of dirty little mix-ups and frame kills and things like that, and playing around the bomb explosions as well. From the other side of things, John Takuchi can keep up with that same sort of pressure. We know John Takuchi has this own wild style that other Rashid players maybe don't have in terms of like the bust outs with the ODDPs, the drive rushes up. He likes to drive rush up a little bit more than other Rashid players, instead of like walking forward, stand medium kick and things like that. He likes to initiate, so it's going to be two full speed trains running at each other.
That's what it usually feels like in regards to like with these players. I do wholeheartedly agree. I kind of wonder if Nemo's going to take a back seat though, like with understanding how John Takuchi's playstyle is and also how the matchup is kind of like. I wonder if Nemo would play more of like a reactionary game more so than an aggressive one. So we'll see. We'll see. That's going to pretty much be determined within the first couple of seconds of the game, considering how like Nemo's playstyle is. This is a little bit of an odd statement to make also. I have been following Nemo on both his streams and social media because of the wealth of knowledge that he has in the Marvel Fighting Collection. This cat knows every infinite for every character for every game, I think. So he's been playing a lot of that lately. So I feel like I'm not too sure if his game plan is going to come to fruition or not because of the fact that he's been playing a ton of Marvel, son. He's been playing so much of the Versus series as of late. But I don't know, like there's something about like the way he plays Versus series games that like sparks the way like his engine is in his brain. That maybe that like transfers over well for something like Street Fighter 6, so who knows. But talking about the interview at hand, as we get ourselves ready, John Takeuchi, Nemo is a player I really respect, but I really don't like Bison, so I'm going to beat him up today. And that is a fair statement. You know, I dabble with Bison, but playing against Bison, I hate it, man. Totally understandable.
Sucks. Yeah. It's the same, even when it's like the Bison mirror match, whenever I play that, I'm like, this character can do this? And I'm like, oh, I play him too. I guess I can't complain. So like, I get it. You know, this character can play the one-player game that Nemo would like to implement. And as you mentioned, like, maybe playing Marvel might actually help him out in terms of like seeing things that he could be washed by. He's like, you know what, in Street Fighter 6, it's not so bad. It could be way worse. You know what I'm saying? Like, this could be worse. I could be getting hit with an infinite from the other side of things. So we'll see what happens here. Nemo says, I've been training with Gachikun, as Gachikun had mentioned previously, but Gachikun was changing his setup so much, so he didn't really let me practice an ordinary Rashid. That's kind of an insult. You said he didn't really let me practice an ordinary Rashid. Are you referring to John Takeuchi as an ordinary Rashid?
A little bit of
crazy, bro.
A little bit of a backhanded one, yeah, I guess so, more or less, but understandable. So we talked about it earlier, yeah. Nemo, he was taking a little bit of a backseat and trying to play reactionary towards the style that John Takeuchi is currently implementing. But here we go. Within game one, we get the first real clean hit from the side of Nemo. The big rebuttal after the blocked overhead. You thought you could press a button afterwards. Nemo immediately getting checked, and now the forward throw and the run in pursuance of Bison being in the corner from that far away. John Takeuchi is laying down the groundwork for possibly getting the first round. Bang!
Ooh, you should not have said that. You said Mans was average. He a savage up in the corner. He said, I'll show you some mix up in there. Putting him in the blender up in the corner and keeping up that aggression. Like that interruption though, gets a counter hit, and the OD scissor kick, the bomb right after it, as we all know and love. Drive rush throw immediately off the rip, off the tap parry, the bomb's about to go off. I said the bomb's about to go off. He still went for the reversal jab. Another bomb on the way. OD in play for the plus frames. More plus frames to burn him out.
God.
You'll take this. You'll take that hit though. He's a burnout.
Did you see all that damage to the drive gauge? That was insane. Oh, yeah, you gotta pay for it. SRK Super Rashid kick. I love that, being able to get out of the corner. Do you let it rip raw? Level 2? No, perhaps not. That might be a dangerous move considering how little life you have, excuse me. You do get the drive gauge back. If Nemo puts himself into burnout, this might be a game changer for the side of John Takeuchi.
First throw. You try first throw again. He calls out the throw. See, I thought it too. I thought it was going to be a dash up or drive rush throw. He went for the attack. It didn't connect. Hold north to put this man south. Fantastically done. John Takeuchi says, who's ordinary now?
Who's ordinary now, man? Tell me. Nothing ordinary about the gameplay. Above average strategy coming in. Excellent gameplay from the side of John Takeuchi thus far. However, Nemo looking to expose the defense from John. No, not at all, actually. That was a really well-strung series from the side of Nemo, stealing turn after turn with the back roundhouse. John Takeuchi wasn't going to get caught slacking.
Bomb is on back, heavy kick, the bomb right after it. Jump Fierce, aiming for the drive gauge again. I like this strategy. Other things are not coming to fruition, but the strategy to burn him out, the sequencing has been immaculate. The chase down for the burnout to end the round has been real good. Now, can you close it out, Nemo? Can it get a game on the board?
I definitely cursed the heck out of him, by the way. I was talking about his defense, and I pulled the EU commentator and definitely cursed the heck out of Mans. But we'll see how that goes. Level 1, again, one of the main choices for Bison when it comes to wake up defensive maneuvers. Drive reversal, obviously another one of those, but majority of the time, Bison not going to be having an OD reversal to get himself out of danger. He might need something like that right now as the tornado comes his way, but no, parry does enough of the job. However, you are short in life. John Takeuchi needs to finish it, quick.
It's a back throw. Should be able to do so. Wow, what a DP against the drive rush. One more touch in the jab. Just a dab to do it. Saw the green, became the stop sign. He's on set point.
Oh, that is a... Man, that was so well calculated too. What reactions and anticipation from John Takeuchi to get the first hit of this round, the ever important hit, because again, we talked about how beneficial it is for Rashid to have you in the corner, but Nemo not afraid to let out another level 1 cook up.
Progress jab, caution middle kick extension for the knockdown, level 2. What you want to do, put this character on the ground before something like this and try to go for tap parry. Nemo, he's always had really good offense, but the defense has been something that's been lacking in this character. You cannot be slacking even more so. Oh no, counter hit up in the corner. The bar not looking so good. The OD DP for the chase down. You cannot neutral jump against this cat. And Nemo, I like the idea against killing the drive gauge, but could not kill the live gauge.
Maybe you blame Gachiku for this loss. We definitely saw a significant change of pace between these two competitors in regards to what we had just witnessed between Kakeru and Gachiku in terms of John Takeuchi and Nemo. I felt like this was more of a standard outcome that we've seen in majority of the matches in like a premier event or even like a CFN. The pacing of it all did feel very similar to that, but I will say John Takeuchi and his defensive choices were pretty top-notch up until like certain points, but his offense, so hard to call. I think it's more so on the side of Nemo for pressing buttons in places where he really shouldn't. I think that was more of an example between like the first game as well as the first round, but even towards the end, I think it was a hard call. After a stand jab, you're blocking, you're in burnout. You never really expect something like a standing medium kick to come out like that to get a counter hit as well, so Nemo not really being able to pick and choose his spots. But one thing is for sure now, 10 points apiece on both ends, which means we're not going to get a sudden death match. But one of these teams are going to be walking away with a hefty amount of points. 30 points is a very significant one in comparison as we get ready for the second half. Now, Detonation Focus Me with 10 points to their name, currently at 85. If they manage to score the big 30 ball, they're going to be tied with Fukushima Ibushigen at 105 points, which is going to be kind of a crazy thing to think about, considering they're currently in 5th place.
Higuchi going on. You know, I guess I like this. Daigo with the mirror matches been kind of shaky. He's still developing his style in terms of getting more aggressive. We saw it with Kangaroo at Pain City. Obviously, that was like a first to 2. But even he had mentioned, he was like, man, I just didn't turn on the machine of being aggressive until it was too late. And I like Higuchi going up because he's kind of like a tech master. You know, he really understands matchups wholeheartedly. He knows how to land the upside down kicks against the crouching medium kicks. He knows how to play the fireball game very, very well. In fact, I think he's improved on that in the past couple of years thus far with this character. And if there's someone that's going to be able to break down someone that's so optimal, that's machine-like, that's Machibo, I like it's Higuchi, if he's able to keep that confidence up. So I do like this pick overall. I do like him going up, but this is, again, this is huge. For either side, as you mentioned, more points for Saishun Console Kumamoto to boost them up. For Detonation Focus Me, however, they need to get out of the rut. And this would be a big opportunity to do so, to get that momentum and get some points to not be in last place.
Speaking of points right now, Machibo, with the current overall record that he has been doing too poorly for himself. I feel like there is still like moments of redemption for him. I think he's played almost every match thus far, and his record in like regulation play outside of tiebreakers is currently 2-2. I think he's like, yeah, he has a pretty decent record with 50%. The only thing that kind of excels him above that is his win over Baby's Bison in the sudden death battle on day 1. But outside of that, I think he's got a very, very sturdy record to him. I don't know how he's gonna face off against someone like Higuchi's style though. I was just talking about his style the other day over dinner. Higuchi is so hard to pin down. It's so hard to make a solid read on him, and his understanding of how the fireball game works, it shows me signs of older Daigo in regards to how much harassment he can like dish out as a Guile player, right? So the timing of it all is very difficult to pin down and really hard to assess.
I think you can kind of feel out when NuckleDu, when Kaba want to go for a flash kick, especially Kaba, you can definitely feel it. Even if you get hit by it as the opponent, you can feel when it's coming. For Higuchi, you can't. I feel like it's hard to read when that reversal's coming. That helps out in a lot of matchups where they're like, oh, he wouldn't do it. Which he'll do like flash kick, get punished, and he'll do it again, and it works out because people are like, he would never. And it just has that confidence, I guess, with his reversals. And the confidence is also something he's built upon throughout the league. The league has helped him get confidence. We've seen it in interviews where he's like, when I'm not confident, I'm getting cooked completely. Like, there's no ifs, ands, and buts about it. But as we see in the league, as he's gotten better and better, he's gotten more and more confident. Also want to say his button placements are really good. His buttons with back fierce, stand fierce, crouching medium punch, his counter pokes are second to none, it feels like. Where the booms definitely help out, the buttons though that he has and the timings for upside down kick or a medium kick, the Sobot can definitely help other brothers drop. Now, that all being said, Machabo is no stranger to the danger, no matter what game it is. In an aerial approach, I want to see that work out. I want to see those dive kicks work out against the Sonic Boom pressure. Can he find a way? Here we go, last match. Akuma versus Guile.
I swear, man, every time I see Higuchi, like, pre-game, he reminds me of Makunouchi Ippo, dude. Like, I don't know what it is. His demeanor is so, like, aloof sometimes, but he's such a serious competitor. Once he steps into the ring, it is an entirely different demeanor. And right now, he's looking buff. He's looking more than buff. He ain't gonna drop this combo? Not at all. Level 1 to finish it, perhaps? No, it's just enough damage with the last boom. Man, Akuma, he kind of been breaking down with 900 health. I love this right now from Higuchi. So sturdy.
So confident too as well. Crouching medium kick does find the corner, carry off this with a heavy kick. Tatsu, of course. Beautiful ender. Walk back, but look at that. Higuchi being able to press back with a crouching medium punch and drive rush right after. Might expend some OD gauge. Will actually just interrupt the OD fireball with a forward medium kick instead. Talked about those pokes. Come on. Aim for the drive gauge. Yes, sir. The baby booms. Puts him in burnout.
What a call out. Man, that was actually mad unpredictable. I didn't think he would go for that at all, but the drive impact, again, he wants that award, baby. He wants that extra. Oh yeah, crouching heavy punch, still getting the juggle. The amount of damage that caused, no sir. Level 3, it hit his kneecap, and it's currently tearing his face apart. Sip of calamity, no, you get the full goblet of fire right now. That was actually burned to the face. Ugh. Drive reversal too, as a punish counter.
Oof. Drive reversal and the meaty boom to seal the deal. That was so smart. Burnout in the fireball right after. Are you kidding me? Higuchi, bro. He's got something for every situation.
All I know is this cat can ball. This guy is good. He is so good. You know, it's so entertaining to watch him play in person also. His hand dexterity is through the roof.
Okay, the Tatsu was a mistake. I get it. But the perfect parry from Higuchi in the punish right. Come on now. Higuchi, bro, this guy is ridiculous. Oh my God.
He stays ready. Oh. Again, you talked about it too. Unpredictable with his usage of certain normals within the matchup. And right now, Higuchi being able to dictate the pace too with how much space is behind him, being able to like mask his charges as well. But him moving forward is such a dangerous threat. Machabo does sniff out the threat successfully, but not for long.
There's the OD. That's going to allow more variance. And I feel like after he spends some of that OD gauge, you're going to see a lot more faster fireballs from the side of Higuchi. Where he's like initiated. Dive kick, we talked about the aerial approach coming through. Machabo, get that projectile invuln dive kick to get the hit that he needs. Drive rush, forward fierce with the plus frames. OD fireball, staying fierce. Higuchi definitely not biting at the right time to get punished on that forward medium kick. Again, another level 2. You saw the drive gauge. Yeah.
That's exactly it. His sole objective was to get rid of the drive gauge, but also a very mistimed drive reversal. I feel like Machabo was already airborne by the time that decision was made, no?
Yeah, it seemed like he was already up there. Like he had hit the button, and as soon as it came out, he was already on the other side of that.
very interesting call out.
Predicted this works out.
With the upside down kicks, and now the Sonic Booms are going to be taking a lot of the places of the normals that Akuma wants to try to counter poke at, right? But you could see Machabo is very much so attentive to when Higuchi is walking forward. That is actually a very, very good way to get the damage pretty early on while maintaining this corner positioning. But yeah, again, Machabo's attentiveness towards Higuchi's movement has been really paying him such a benefit thus far in this round.
It's the reward, right? Get close up, get that crouch, you're gonna kick and drive right after it, dump out the damage whenever you can. The OD Fireball trying to land. Beautiful interruption on the way down. It's not your turn. Hits him with a level 1. The blade to lock him. Up in the corner, back Fierce. Oh, he went for the crouch Fierce. There's so many ways.
The drop combo. Oh, double drop.
What?
Triple drop. What happened? What actually happened? A triple drop. A very rare circumstance between these two players.
Higuchi able to pick it up though. 5-second rule. Like to put himself on game point.
Put that down, man.
Not sanitary. In the neutral dance with him. Forward medium kick gets the counter hit. Talked about those timings. Hard to read. Even harder to whip punish. Perfect parry on the fireballs, trying to work his way in. Usually it's the Akuma player get his fireballs perfect parry, but now Higuchi, his structure of fireballs is hard to read. He gets in, drive reversal to back it up.
Oh, so scary still, and the counter hit, activation, more than enough damage. You know what's crazy? He ain't need to do all that. He ain't need to do all that. My man had level 1, he had the booms, there was a counter hit off of Roundhouse. He ain't need to do all that. My man was showing off with his drive games. That's 2 games in benefit of Guile and his, Higuchi and his Guile. I was gonna say Guile and his Higuchi. Strike that, reverse it. He is looking, right now, low-key impenetrable, man. Despite Machabo making the right adjustments towards when Guile is moving forward, that counter adjustment was made in such a small amount of time from Higuchi's end, and now it's just, man, he's looking like he's in trouble, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know if Machabo has it in him to make that final adjustment, but that's exactly why this timeout was taken. That's exactly why he needs to converse with his teammates to get that lifeline going, because solo play is gonna be very difficult.
Yeah, on the zone, I think it'd be really difficult. Machabo's gonna have to make some. Honestly, I don't know what the adjustments are. I think OD Fireball has to come through a little bit more, get some of these fireballs that we see from Higuchi, because Higuchi's establishing such a difficult neutral to penetrate. And then now the adjustment from Higuchi has been, if I can't walk forward, I will use forward medium kick, upside down kick, and bazooka knee with some of the faster Sonic Booms as well, and then be able to establish myself for walking forward. Before he was just like, I'll stroll through, I'm already cooking you. Now, crouching mid kick has been blessing his toes, so he's like, let me stop that from happening, let me back off a little bit, establish a different sort of game, put a lot more mental stack in. Then when I get my counters, at least to a lot of damage, and Macho was like, well dang bro, what do I do? Usually again, it is the Akuma player getting his fireballs perfect parry or dealt with. Not in this situation, and I feel like Akuma can keep up with Guile, but you have to expend some OD gauge. You have to might use some OD Fireball at close range. I think Macho was holding on to drive rush cancels more often than not, and you might have to spend a little bit of bar to get through some of these parade of booms here. But even then, that's just one part of the matchup that I feel like Higuchi can adjust to and be like, all right, cool, I'll do something different. And there's still many more elements that we haven't even seen layers from Higuchi just yet.
And I agree. I think at this point of the game, when Higuchi is already up 2 games, if you're not beyond the point of scratching just the surface, I think it'll be a really tough set to manage. You got to claw your way through 3 games straight at this point. Statistically speaking, man, that is asking for a lot, man. It is so difficult to call out. I don't even think we get to see that too often in either division, both Division S and Division F. We haven't really seen like such significant comebacks as often. So with the way these games have played out in terms of like round per round, I don't know, Higuchi might be able to seal the deal. Let's see if he's able to do so. Saishunkan Soul Kumamoto is looking for the big 30. Detonation Focus Me, right now, they need as much as they can get. Here we go. Taisho time.
Flash kick, back to basics. Only fireball. This is what I'm talking about. Space trap with a stand fierce. Admin fist right after, but didn't get the throw to punish counter instead.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate too. That was such a meaningful heavy punch coming from the side of Machabo to get that big opener. Forward medium kick, that was a counter hit as well. Not gonna really get a link after that from that far away. But I think keeping Higuchi in this corner right now is a significant win for Machabo. Now you get to dictate the pace with the fireballs if you want to, but Higuchi, I think he's thinking the exact same thing. Punish counter off with the soul bot, uppercut. You tried to jump away from what? Your demons? Guess what? I got another one right here. Fireball, walk up throw, taking advantage of that walk speed, dash up, back dash from Higuchi. What a read! What?
Are you kidding me?
Oh my god! That back dash came from out of nowhere, dude.
That could have been a button until you could have died. That could have been a staving off of a set point. Now it's set point Higuchi, man. This cat is ridiculous. Oh my god.
Yo, put him in the jail, man. This guy is making illegal moves. Ain't no way. He's stacking up the paper this fast? There's no way. Get the tax man on
paper at the bottom. IRS.
IRS, open up. We got you for tax fraud, Guile.
Whoa! Oh my god, the flash kick at that distance to get the fireball off. Oh my, this guy's so good. Man. Also, I'm marveling right now how good he is in this matchup. It's a Punisher to level 3 though.
This is a significant tide turner, to be honest with you. Especially after this, you get your drive gauge back. You get to push him towards the corner. If you get this back throw, that could be everything. What in the heck was that? Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how else to call that one. That was a significant choke for the side of Machabo. You know what? Actually, there are moments where players are holding forward and try to throw out a fireball. Maybe he didn't do the half circle tech. Maybe he did. Fact of the matter is, Machabo, what were you going to do with that fireball afterwards, right? That is an unfortunate circumstance. Even Higuchi scratching his head. He's like, yeah, I guess we take those. I guess we take those.
Cool.
He's like, fine with me, man. I get to go home early, says it go. I get to shut off the stream early. Fine with me.
Like bad. Woo, you take that to the bank, and they take 30 points to the bank. Taishun console, Kumamoto getting a lick back from what happened the previous season. But man, you know, you watch a match and how it's done in terms of like the matchup and how to like break down a character. This is one of those matchups, bro. Higuchi knows how to fight Guile, knows how to fight Machabo just in general. But the reads, the reactions, the situational advantages that he had put himself into, next level. Again, we keep talking about it out here. If you look at the lead play, you can definitely figure out from your character, at least from how you play, at least, how to delineate, like how to fight and break down a character. 3-0. Higuchi cleaned up Machabo. That looked absolutely free. God.
It did. It did. There's no other way to put it. It looked free. And I couldn't imagine Machabo being a victim of that statement. I couldn't imagine Machabo choking it up towards the end the way he did. With all due respect, that was the first time we've seen him out of character, out of you know, exactly out of character, I should say, because he's Mr. Optimal for a reason, right? So that is a really unfortunate circumstance as we get into like the interviews too. But hey, man, as the great Vin Diesel, the great philosopher, Vin Diesel had said, winning is winning, whether it's an inch or a mile. We'll definitely take those. Daigo had said he had a really fun time watching. He had trained for this episode, but the enthusiasm was really high from my teammates. So I didn't have a seat in that race. Totally understandable. He's big chillin'. And letting the squad run the way that they did paid off tenfold. Fudo had his big W. Higuchi had his big W. Nemo might have been a little bit too ecstatic seeing Itabashi fail, hence why he didn't get his W, but either way.
Fudo even says he was expecting Itazan to be at the anchor, but he was really relieved that he came at the first game. I think, had it been a first of 3, maybe things would have changed a little bit, but I don't even know. I don't think that's really would have been the case. Fudo was kind of just in there continuously, keeping the character out whenever need be, had a lot of drive gauge, kept up that lead. So I don't know if first to 3 would have mattered that much. I don't think it would have mattered that much. I'm definitely curious to see what Nemo is saying. Maybe not too happy about how he performed, but happy that his team defeated Itabashi's team. I think that's got to feel super great no matter how you slice it. Like, as long as we get the victory, especially against Itabashi, it'll be an A-OK sort of thing. Nemo does say that, Rashid has a lot of ways to attack, and I've trained a lot, but it seems John trained even more than him. You can't call people ordinary, bro. It's only going to come back to bite you. When you insult your opponents, it's usually that person that loses out here at League. That's just how it goes. Usually, historically, besides like Shuto, that's how it usually goes.
That's facts. Yeah, I mean, that's, you couldn't really say it any other way. But Nemo, again, profound respect for his opponents too. I mean, like, he's already been under the same camp of like training as John, or I guess like vice versa. John's been under the same type of training camp as Nemo, under the tutelage of plenty of the great Street Fighter players that have come out in the history of the game in Japan, right? So, a lot of respect from both ends. Higuchi coming in with his statements as well. We have an Akuma player on our team, so I was able to relax with the fact that I can get advice when I lose. Didn't need it. Didn't lose. Didn't need it at all. But it's still something that was well earned. I think that was a very great example of how great Higuchi is. Another one of my favorite players to watch overseas in person. I love his attitude going into the game and his mentality as a professional. This guy really takes it seriously, and I have a feeling that towards Capcom Cup this year, I mean, I would love to see him like qualify. I think it would do significant damage at this year's Capcom Cup if he were to make it. So I think the rest of it too. Yeah, I already knew like the rest of this interview with Higuchi. It was a straight win. Didn't need the advice, but Nemo, with the rest of his statements in regards to the team and the future of the team going into the rest of the playoffs or rest of the season that leads into playoffs. Next episode, the start of the second half, Terry comes out, it'll be a different game. Those are the words of the captain from Saishunkan Seoul Kumamoto. Today I could successfully say the star is truly shining bright with all 4 of them, and they definitely brought both the heat and the humidity. These guys are looking on fire with their end to the first half. I'm loving it right now. They are currently tied with Fukushima Ibushigen. Now we'd have to see what the game differentials are looking like to see where that tiebreaker lies in regards to who's in second place. But again, as we talk about the replays, it does lead us into our match, our third match of the day. But look at the amount of control that Higuchi had during the first game itself, right? I think there was a lot of moments where Machabo surely had the missteps against Higuchi with the early drive reversals, but majority of the time, the reads from this cat, the absolute raw reads were ridiculous.
Unfortunate mistake right there, but I don't think it would have mattered too often, too much. I think Macho's game plan of hitting the OD fireballs, as we mentioned, to kind of traverse the fireballs, presented just one aspect, and there's still way more to come. And he had the advice behind him. There was still more. Gucci haven't even hit Bankai at all, bro. He ain't even hit his true release at all. And that shows to me that Saishunkan Seoul Kumamoto is still in ridiculous threat out here at the league, as we've seen them time and time again. Continue to see them shine. That they should focus, he has to focus up. You know, I feel like they have the potential. They have the utility. They have the players. It's just something about the strategy. It's something about closeout moments at some points, or just getting absolutely just washed sometimes where you wouldn't expect, maybe they're not ready for certain matchups or certain sort of playstyles. That is strange to see, which is such a difference than what we saw last season, where they were prepared for like damn near everything. So it's coming to the second half of the season. They're not completely out of it, but it'll get closer and closer to that time where it's going to be hard to get over that qualification line. Don't let it be you. You should let it be you, though, to get one of these beautiful arcade sticks. I don't have mine to show off. I had the Odin one with me, and I didn't bring it in here, so I can't get it. I have a little hitbox from SGF devices that has Odin on it. It's actually beautiful. But these are beautiful. Do you have one with you? Do you have one of these right here that they're showing
It's
off?
upstairs. I could go get it, but I'd have to leave the station, and I am not allowed to do that right now. So, I am very close in proximity to one. I would love to show it off, but I'm sure Aru and Aru and Haitani are doing a fantastic job of doing that as well. So, I would love to eventually try one, as I've been very much so in tune with a lot of like the different peripherals out there in the fighting game community. I do like to try out so many different ones as well, and it's been very innovative with the amount of different controls, being able to conveniently help a lot of like the newer players, and also really amplify the professional players towards the goals that they're looking for. So again, if you guys haven't done so, be sure to check it out for yourself. Just this format of a hitbox has been very beneficial to a lot of players. It takes a little bit much to kind of get used to it, a little intimidating, but man, is it worth it. It feels great for your hands as well. So it's an amazing feeling.
As someone as old as me, it definitely feels good to like not have my hands cramp up after like a half an hour, like 45 session. Usually with hitbox or any sort of leverless, I'm just like, I feel better after like a couple hours. I feel like I'm not crunching up like this and going into like a claw formation. So definitely check those out, or check out whatever's good for your hands. Play everything, whether it be pad, whether it be leverless like this. Those buttons look sick. Having the extra buttons at the bottom, you'll never drive impact me again. That's a lie. You'll actually drive impact me all the time. I'm over 30, so you'll hit me every single time. But at least I'll have another way to maybe hit a button and immediately at least try to drive impact back. Those extra buttons right there. I'd like to try that. Having extra buttons at the bottom right there might be helpful.
I'm low-key about to go upstairs and be like, yo, let me try that real quick.
Get that real quick.
Let me just see how it feels. But I mean, I'm sure the microphone will pick up with the way I press buttons currently. I am a caveman. Just like I press buttons way too loud, man. But I'd imagine there are so many variations of buttons out there right now too. There are like silent buttons. There's padding that you put within the button itself to really make it as convenient as possible. I currently have that as my layout with my gamer finger buttons. I make sure to have like the silent padding. Same for my current hitbox setup. Your neighbors will thank you 100%. When you're a fighting game player, people will discriminate against you. Like, you make too much noise, fella. We're gonna need you to kind of pump the brakes and like get some soundproofing. Perfect way to do it.
Definitely well worth it, especially if you're traveling a lot too, and you're on the plane and you have the capability of pulling up the laptop and playing. Man, I recently did that with one of my controllers, a little on the silent side. I'm like, wait a minute, I can play on the plane. I wouldn't play on Wi-Fi, I swear, I promise you, but I would play in Training Lab. Of course, there's other ways to play it. It's not just leverless, it's also the padded one right there. For me, I'd use pad for something like Dead Rising, which has just come out and it's amazing. Pick that game up, it's really, really incredible. But there's many ways to play. Again, find what is comfortable for you and your hands.
Yeah, with how popular esports are in Japan with a variety of different games and avenues too, like having something like that gamepad towards the left is really beneficial too for your comfort. I think a lot of the peripherals nowadays have made it so customizable and such ease of access towards getting certain techniques down. It really is a great thing to see all these peripherals out, especially also for fighting games too, being able to have that ease of access towards maybe like extra buttons, even paddles in the back, etc. But as it stands right now, Capcom_esports have been doing so many giveaways with their communities, and so many interesting things coming out in the works too. I actually got to see one of like the Capcom capsule centers too for like a bunch of their gachas, and I think I've seen these. I ordered it just this morning, so be on the lookout for that if you guys ever get to visit the land of Japan. In the meantime, also get ready for match number 3. Nagoya NTP Oja versus Shinobi-ism Gaming is going to be coming at you real soon, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be the conclusion of the halfway point. You don't want to miss any of it as we return with more action of Street Fighter 6 here in Street Fighter League of Japan. Again, so much to talk about, so much to do, but so little time. Again, I highly encourage you guys to check it out at Capcom_esports, just in case. There's so much going on with so many collaborations. Cola, brother, man, there are so many different collabs happening in Japan.
I want them all.
It is mad popular. It is crazy out here to see that. But even crazier to see match number 3. Again, we'll see you right after this break. Don't go anywhere. We're back with more Street Fighter League Japan.
再開はですね約10分後の21時18分頃を予定しておりますので、それまでは一旦失礼いたします。
crowns a new challenger. Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics.
先方は梅原クラシック号機。
すっげえ嫌そうな顔してる。
相手は梅原さんということで胸を借りるつもりで精一杯頑張ろうと思います。
お互い SA ゲージは2ゲージ。はい。
すごいすごいすごい。しかもコパンなんだ。
ここはエドの地上戦10の場合。
ナイス。
ウィーナイス。
勝ってる勝ってる。
ゲームになってしまった山口がフォローして画面足。
そういうこと。遅らせ遅らせ。その場
無理する。
アッパー、歩きアッパー、前ステ前大アッパー、ステなんかうるさい人いる。
うるさいな。
いいよ。
いやもう
いいよ。
いいよ。
春国だけ。頼む頼む。
これは決まり手山口。
オッケーナイス。ナイス。さすが。
でか
ドリーム決めると勝つな。
正確には決まってないけど。
決まってないけど、いやいやなんか珍しいパターンやなあれ。レアパターン。いやこれは嬉しい。
でかい。
いややっぱいいっしょ。さっきちゃんとね練習通りに対処できたらよかったっすね。
直前に合気戦やれてたのがかなりでかかった。藤村さんありがとうございます。
いやありがとうございます。
And just like that, match number 3 is currently underway as we have the conclusion of the first half of our season here. Street Fighter League Pro Japan, Vicious back at it again with St. Cola to deliver the news with our team, the Daredevil Bounty Hunter. Starting things off with Mochi, part of Nagoya NTP Oja, the newcomer in both Street Fighter 6 as well as the league itself, but without the talented Otani coming straight from Toyama. One of our favorites to watch currently as well for this team, backed by the coach of all coaches, your favorite coach's favorite coach, the battle consultant, Tachikawa. And man, this hair is looking so slick. I know I'm an hair expert, but terms of expertise with Bison, it is KB, the hammer. That be 100% for Bison. Now this team is such a fun team to watch thus far. Looking at the current points, sitting at 3rd place, 85. They're looking really strong right now.
Have to go up against Shinobi Ism Gaming, who is sitting at 80 points. The School of Ninjas, let's see who's on this team. The home team this time have been slowly rising to the occasion, have had a bit of a shaky start, more than a bit of a shaky start, but we'll see how things go as we get close to that second part of the season. Good reason you know they're going to turn up like volume. The School of Ninjas are led by the master, the head of ninjas himself. Let's take a look at this amazing roster. Starting off super strong is the one still piling mommy muscle money. It's the Swanky Ninja himself, Johnny. Trying to put pressure on and damage with that character. May need to switch though for Bison. The Grave, it calls for you. The Grave Digger, Grave Maker, Grave Creator is Fujimura on the Akuma. After that's going to be the Vanguard lead the charge, sometimes ending the battle. It is Yamaguchi on the edge. We talked about him, we know him, we love him. He confirmed God himself. The Shinobi is in prime, always staying fine. Is Momochi swinging those fists so they don't miss. My man with the Hajime no info, bro. I love to see it, and you love to see this team back in torque. However, there are certain elements of this team that have to improve. And again, we mentioned that Johnny on the Marisa maybe needed to have to go for a switch to a Bison. That character has not been able to take him to where he needs to be. What was that motion?
He was channeling his chakra. My man was ready to. He was pulling out all the techniques. That's crazy. This guy, he's got it down pat. I wonder how long it took for him to practice that. Genuinely. But either way, yeah, no doubt. This is the order. Otani, Tachikawa, and KB. And what a crazy lineup, because it is Ken, Manon instead of Ed, and Bison. Very, very interesting. Not going to be the first time we've seen that Manon come to play.
Is he trying to avoid the mirror match? Is he trying to avoid the Akuma? I'm not sure. Because Manon, it feels like Manon players are pretty happy about that matchup. Chuto on his stream did say that Manon has been a counterpick for Akuma. We saw it with Hikaru. He picks that character for Akuma. Most usually. Sometimes he won't, but generally speaking, he feels like that's a good counterpick. So maybe that's why we see that. Yamaguchi leading the charge this time, coming up with the Ed to start off the party. We'll see how this operates against Otani's Ken. Now, again, this is a matchup I love watching because I like seeing how well the Ken players are acclimated in the matchup. It's a lot of close-range drive rush jabs to catch a recovery or preemptively stuff a button. It's fireball pressure with pokes, nice and close again, with OD every so often in toe taps. Now, we've seen it work out for some players a lot better than others. I think Kosa is the best in terms of fighting the Ed matchup. We'll see if Otani has something to say about Yamaguchi's play.
Yeah, this is a matchup that has been highly talked about and highly viewed, and it's much more of a common occurrence in the realm of the meta of Street Fighter 6 as it stands. Watching different playstyles from around the world is going to be a very big indicator as to how this matchup kind of goes. Things can kind of go out the window though in regards to these two players specifically. Now, Otani and going into it, I was going to say, who else actually did? Who else did Otani actually play against? Like, throughout the season, because like again, Yamaguchi's faced off against a bunch of other Kens too. But aside from that, I think Yamaguchi's creativeness with his head and like the pacing that he does take on offense can leave a lot of players a little bit like stunned on defense. Otani has actually been the one to adapt defensively a lot better than most from what we've tuned into thus far in the season, right? I think Otani is exceptional when it comes to the adaptation levels on defense too. So in terms of like offense, I feel like it's pretty standard for Kens. I think he does a really great job of like throwing out Jinrai mix-ups as well. And also utilization of the step kicks too. So we'll see how much that really comes to play against someone like Yamaguchi, who could be very active with his both normals and with flicker too. So it's going to be a very interesting battle.
I want to go back to how you're talking about Otani being defensive. It's like when he's most people break But he's talking about sniping out with crouching medium kick to catch dashbacks and walkbacks, and they're trying to go for like a shimmy, whatever it may be. His success ratio on that, not only this season, but previous times that we've seen him play, is next level. And I think it really saves him in moments where it's a continuous amount of pressure that you would have to hold in terms of like drive gauge or damage, whatever it may be, especially against Ed. But I haven't really seen him play Ed so often. In fact, in the league, I don't think he's, oh wait, no, he did beat Sasamo. That's his only victory that he has gotten so far. That was against Sasamo, actually. So he is well in tune with that match. I think I remember and recall a good amount of like ways to switch outside the corner. A lot of moments where he was able to crouch him to kick, drive rush, dragon lash side switch, and things like that. So it definitely goes to show that you're definitely correct in terms of like that good defense. But Yamaguchi, as you mentioned, it's hard to call when he's going to use the normals, the flickers every so often. And all it takes is one punish counter flicker for him to drive rush in and get aggressive, loop the pressure, safe jump setups, as you see, mid-screen, in-screen, doesn't matter where it's at. He's got those. So we'll see what happens between the two. Definitely different sort of flavor than Sasamo presents in terms of, you know, presenting what he does for Ed. Less technical, but way more, I think, active.
Right, we definitely are going to see that type of style from Yamaguchi too. Like again, Yamaguchi has been a very, very technical type of player. Looking into the interviews though, to kind of cut that Otani a little bit emotional again. Actually, I think he's got a lot of history with a lot of the younger generation of players that are coming into Street Fighter League, just because of the fact that I think they were all of the same class coming into Street Fighter 5. So seeing them evolve into the professional players that they are today, that carries a lot of like weight going into it, because of the class that you were with, learning the game, and being exposed to the professional world. So Otani talks about it. Former teammate battle, pretty emotional. Can't really lose this game, can I? Yamaguchi expressed the same thing. We were in the same team before, same judo character. We really, or he really cannot afford to lose this game either. But the beauty of fighting games, there's only one winner, and we find that out right now. Game 1, Yamaguchi versus Otani.
Second crouching with a kick, he's able to get the enhanced Tatsu as the corner carry. Yamaguchi trying to get active and strike his way out with the forward fears. I like that move because he tried to bless the crouching medium kick and get the counter hit, get some distance, try for medium, but no commitment to a button right after. That's an easy punish, the knockdown.
Get a little antsy with the step kick. We had talked about it too. Okay, that is a great way to sneak in that counter. That Dragon Lash sniped the heck out of Ed, but OD uppercut. Upon awakening, Yamaguchi with a giant jump in to follow through, but doesn't get the kill rush forward afterwards. The kill rush upper does not find the mark. Perfect parry against the Dragon Lash. Of course, we're switching sides. We got to take that corner advantage as much as possible. Now putting Ken on the ropes into the grave. Level 2 uppercut just in case. A little bit of a swagger to him first round. To Yamaguchi, a very expensive one at that.
Drops here and there, but Yamaguchi, like how active he is, especially when he gets immediately in the corner. We saw the forward fierce trying to land. And again, neutral kind of difficult for Kid. Trying to find the right confirms, trying to find the right buttons at the right distances. Check the challenge right there. Buy the flicker, try brush jab. Look quick on the draw right there. Enhanced Tatsu, Oki. Throw right after. Dash up, medium for the plus range. Tech the throw though. Right after. Oh, that's an easy punish. -5 at like minimum. Jinrai, super. Helping the damage.
Good amount of damage, more importantly, that corner positioning is everything, allowing Otani to drive up to him. Not for too long, though. The defensive rebuttal from Yamaguchi, plus the momentum off of that throw, is going to lead to a lot! Safe jump, and he jump low. Ooh, and one of the best fireballs in the game. We talked about that right as the game released, man. Ken's fireball, the OD version, we're like, oh, it doesn't knock down, huh? Wait a minute. That leads to so much more.
Be able to follow up too as well with the confidence. Otani, we get it back to the brink. Dragon Lash plus strings right after the back throw. Tumbleweed in full effect. Up in the corner. They're going to harass Katisu with the heavier buttons. Rush jab finds the mark. Knockdown off the cycle blitz. Jab, hit confirm. 2-piece into the super. Now this is scaled. It's all for light. Looking for that advantage in terms of a life lead. The bar back too as well. Can play the lane game if need be. He actually goes for the drive rush jab. Back to mid-screen. You can OD fireball if he wants. You can fireball, stand medium kick. Has him caught up in the corner. How do you find your way out?
No shot.
You find your way 6 feet under.
That is such a very significant sign that Yamaguchi is 100% trying to play to his opponent's strengths and weaknesses, right? Otani being such a reactive monster, drive rush forward into the throw, you would see the animation and try to tech. Immediately going into the punish counter, that was a very, very solid strategy coming in from Yamaguchi. And a little bit of a chuckle too is like, you know, I would think to myself, man, I didn't think that would work. Like I didn't think it would lead to his death, right? So it is a, I will say it is an uncommon tactic because it really has to work upon players that rely on their reactions pretty heavily.
Also, like the stress factor too as well. You've lost so much health. You're already having difficulty and issues getting in. Like, I think it's a good time to let that shine. And now you put it in their mind that that could be coming through in the next game. Like that also just builds up for the next game, the next situation. Otani looking very, very stressed right now. Yamaguchi looking very happy, very jovial. I also like to switch up in terms of how the Ed players are playing. Sometimes you'll see the level 3 to get the lead nowadays, just to keep it when they know that it's going to be hard for the opponent to work in the neutral. You know, you have to expend OD gauge. There's not always OD gauge for the side of Otani. And if he puts himself in burnout, that's a very stressful thing to have to fight the likes of Ed. It's flicker continuously in the plus range. It's strike though continuously, drive rush jabs, get even more pressuring consistently over and over again. It becomes an even harder proposition to want to spin the OD gauge. OD fireball is important. I think it's a very important thing in this matchup, but having the gauge to do so is even more important. And I like that Yamaguchi is like, I'll just get the lead, keep it, and stress you out. At least a success right here. First game to Yamaguchi.
So far, from what we've seen in regards to the matchups prior, momentum is everything to close out some of these games and some of these matches. Yamaguchi striking first blood. It might distill a little bit of nerves from the side of Otani, but I think Otani's been on the receiving end of like some beatdowns in the very early parts of the game and slowly starts to make their comeback. We'll see what type of pace Otani's going to play at going forward now that he's seen the opening gambit from game 1 from the side of Yamaguchi and that Ed. So a lot of the problems too, I think, revolve around like the fireball game, at least right out the gate, right? There are moments where Ed, I feel like, can outclass Shoto players with being able to nullify the fireball in numerous ways, right? You have the flicker, you have like the startup of the fireball and the fireball itself that follows after, the spark into the fireball, I should say to be more specific. So there's a lot of that to consider as well. So in terms of like the middle ground of it all too, in terms of like throwing out some of the normals, I actually still like Ken in this matchup. I think there's so many different normals for counter poking that are just as efficient. Sure, he might lack the range just a little bit in comparison to Ed, but I still think it really does pose much more of a threat in comparison to Ed's normals.
I know the Kid players are definitely like ideating against this matchup a lot. We talk about a lot where Angry Bird was like, I got something for Tachikawa next time I see him. I haven't seen him play it Ed in a while, but I think the idea is like, you set up the fireball game, so where you're able to maybe land a drive impact, you kind of lull him in the false sense of security to go for a butt that's going to overextend, or for going for too many flickers more often than not, and you hit him with a drive impact, go for the corner. Once you have Ed in the corner, you can go to town with Gen Rise continuously. You got a slow DP. It's hard for him to strike back, especially on wake up. It's a risky proposition. The jump fierce might actually bless before the DP does come out, depending on the setup. So when that corner carry does happen, that corner position does happen, it can be a good time. And also, if you get put up in the corner, there's a chance for a side switch to happen off a crouching medium kick. Now, that hasn't happened in this game, but that could happen. So I agree, as the Ken players get better about the neutral and feeling more comfortable in the neutral, it could be a better thing for Ken. They just have to be able to access those points. Like Kosa, we even see in this matchup too as well with Otani. They get close enough where they're about mid to close range and they drive rush jab. And they'll clip a button before it comes out. Ed's button's a little bit slower on the draw, so you'll catch that. You get the counter hit with the drive rush, cancel into the enhanced Tatsu. That's only happened once. Otani has to make it happen more often.
You see it right now, game number 2 between Otani and Yamaguchi, already threatening the spark. We talked about that too, just right off the bat. The fireball game is going to be such a problem to deal with. I think more so for Ken. The only saving grace that Ken has is really the OD Fireball and being able to react off of that and to go into Drive Rush, but I love that. Yeah, a little bit of the stagger too. Off of the standing jab, you could tempt the throw, right? You do have options for tick throw, but standing medium punch is what really led to this position too. Yamaguchi just eating that target combo prior, slowly starting his way, trying to carve his way out of the corner and does so successfully. Forward throw, set up. Sorry, not set up, kill rush forward.
The drive gauge continuously eating a few fireballs, but Yamaguchi content as long as it puts him in the corner. Jump light kick, able to get the side switch. Look at that. Way more pacing with the fireball. Looking to walk back, add some more variance. Maybe also getting that right range where if he wants to go for the toe tap, or I guess a jump in, he'll be able to land without too much risk. Throw.
Yeah, and this is the kind of pace that we were kind of expecting between both. Now the side switch comes out close to 2 bars is Yamaguchi. It's so close.
Was able to bait the crouching mutant kick with a kill rush back. Back throw up in the corner you go. Oh, Yamaguchi's got the lead. He jumps away from the throw. 5 seconds. Blocks the overhead. 2-1 is going to be Yamaguchi's game. Beautiful defense. Set point for Yamaguchi.
Yeah, gotta keep the string honest too, especially after that drive rush. I love the fact that he can blow it up with the OD uppercut. But Otani again, still on the ropes. 3 bars to both characters is gonna be pretty significant going into it. Yamaguchi now gets the forward throw, kill rush forward as well, checking with the flicker. Otani not willing to advance up until that point. That's a good read to get that forward jump against the kill rush. This is going to be a big, significant change up until this point. Side switch, no sir. Same side, forward throw, drive rush forward, tick throw yet again. Multiple damage off the throw and keeps on going. Yamaguchi so reluctant. The perfect parry. Watch out, attack on the drive gauge.
Chris did it. Oh, the flip out allows him to get the crouching kick into the Super Dragon Lash. A slight pop off right there. It's ready to see him pop off and kind of erase that fist like that. Stavey on set point. Again, this means so much to him. However, the shimmy. Take off some health. Kill rush. Stand medium kick. Harassing. Kill rush back again. Avoid the jump ins.
We see that drive rush initiation too. The OD Fireball still trying to carve his way out of the corner. The jump back normal from Yamaguchi to contain this pressure, to contain Otani. Even from further out, the Fireball is just such a pain to deal with.
Oh. Hopefully it wasn't calling the recovery of the button. Trade. Heavy into the drive rush. Trying to take it back his turn when he need be. The bar at the bottom gets the overhead in the level 3. I love this. Burn this man out. He's caught in the corner. Only bars to his name at the bottom. About halfway back with his. General pressure could be coming through, but don't leave any gaps. There's a level 3, possibly level 2, maybe even level 1 if he doesn't want to use too much bar. Burn out both sides could be bad because of the flicker, as you see. Tiny back with bar. OD Fireball.
Forward throw now. Trying to tick throw. Very delayed tech from Yamaguchi, by the way, with the amount of space they had between them after that break. Level 2, forcing the drive reversal out of Otani.
Oh. This may be beneficial. It's only level 1 at the side of Otani. Also the flicker to get it done, the OD, the DP right after. Usually that would be a horrible situation because he raced at level 2. Every time it's not on hit, when it's on block, drive reversal easily, but that was the intention of Yamaguchi. What a smart move right there. Take the bar away, put him in the corner. Yamaguchi. Very intelligent right there. What a strategy. I love seeing level 2 as like utility other than like a dream combo. Like, yeah, dream combos, Shin dream combos, those are super cool. But to see them use that to take away the drive gauge and enforce a drive reversal, chef's kiss. Yamaguchi godlike.
I think he elevated to the next level too. If you looked at the final moments, which we will eventually in the replays, I kind of want to see if there was a moment where perhaps he had already secured the checkmate because of the chip damage possibility, right? He did have a level 1 to his name. He did have a decent amount of drive gauge behind him as well. He could have kept Otani in lockdown with the amount of ODs he could throw and force Ken to come forward because of the OD flickers. Now, let's take a look at that. Look, right here, if Otani decided to eat that, I think there still would have been another rep for Yamaguchi to do another set of specials, normals, whatever, chip into flicker, whatever you want to, and then go into a possible level 1. I think that could have possibly killed him either way.
Oh, calculate on either side of things. Like, he's going to die no matter what. Even with that bar at the bottom, disallowing that from even being a problematic thing. Yamaguchi. Very, very smart studios. Talk about the defense of that offense. Insane. Yamamochi going up. Classic against Tachikawa on the Manon. I guess this is what you'd have to send out. Akuma, probably not going to be that much fun against like some Manon. You can't jump. You can't Demon Raid at all. She has so many ways to anti-air. Command Grab's going to be dealing out so much damage. So it makes sense, I guess, to see Momochi come out early to fight out the Manon. But it's wild to see the Manon pick from Tachikawa. Fukutabata had said in a translation of one of Tachikawa's videos that the Manon was like a very desperate pick. Last time that we saw it, Tachikawa, they didn't even expect to win with the character. So seeing it back, because I feel like I remember him saying that he wouldn't use it again or would try not to use it again at least. Seeing it back again, especially on the deck like this, especially on the away side, is kind of wild.
I want to say now that with that information coming to light, then I will agree it's kind of wild. I think majority of the time that he was thinking, he's like, all right, well, if I'm going against Shinobiism this week, I'm obviously going to be threatened with the Ed Mirror match. So I'd imagine Manon might just be the pick for him consistently to counter against this character. I think there are a couple of ways that she can kind of traverse past the flickers, as she does have invulnerability to the fireballs with the spin. I think if he can't break a person's guard normally by like conventional means, I think the command grab is going to be a very, very healthy choice, a very dangerous choice at that. And that carrying over to the other rounds makes it even more of a threat. So I think there's a lot of diligent play that's going to be coming out from Tachikawa in regards to like the Ed matchup specifically using Manon. So I think, although it being a little bit nerve-wracking for him, I absolutely think this Manon pick is 100% intentional for the Ed match specifically.
Covering both bases does seem like it's pretty good against Akuma and Ed. So I want to see what he did previously, like when he was fighting against Fudo. When he command grabs so you wouldn't expect it, stealing turns. Very simplistic sort of version of a Manon, like with the jumpers and things like that, backing it up, but very, very effective, right? I feel like it really put Fudo off his guard. He was like, wait, what are you doing? Command grab? Like, what's wrong with you? But even Tachikawa was like, you know, this is the way I want to play with this character to stress them out, right? But I'm sure Momochi had watched that and said, okay, I'll be ready for that sort of, I guess, intentional play. Tachikawa says Division S has too many names with Mochi. I only need our team's Mochi. So I want to win here and demolish the other Mochis. It's the Battle of the M's, the House of M's.
That's not a response I expected Tachikawa to come up with. I was actually pretty creative. I like that a lot. As we get ready for our match, Momochi also has his interview coming in. He does mention, I'm good with the same characters, so I will do my best, right? He's pretty comfortable with whoever Tachikawa is going to bring to the table, I think more so in the mirror match, but obviously watching Manon come up to the stage, come up to the plate, I should say, I think Momochi is going to be more than ready. And funny thing is, like as we get ready for it, I didn't notice that they started to do a lot more Q&A sessions with a lot of the professional players out in Shifudo League Japan. I think it's a really great incentive to get like that player to fan base communication interaction. Hopefully we can get something like that reciprocated in the States or even in the Europe region, but we'll talk about that another time. Here we go. Battle number 2, Tachikawa versus Momochi. Hello.
Calls out another command grab. See, he did it again. He said, I watch the tapes. Won't let it be me. Avoids the command grab. The second one, the trade medium. Walks back. Doesn't have to overextend at this point. It's a beautiful stand. Medium kick into drive rush. Cancel the kill. Yeah, hard to answer. He knows. So he just jumps back. Finds a stand medium kick. Drive rush cancel for the kill. He's seen what had happened to Fudo and how Fudo died. A lot of those were jump ins. As you mentioned, rearing back with that jump heavy kick and the way it reaches down. Hard to DP continuously. And it's very effective against Ed. Mochi just jumps back. He's like, I'll just avoid that.
I think that's one significant thing to note is that Manon, I think she does relatively well against fireballs, not even just with the spin, but also with her current jump arc, her jump speed, and also the normal she comes down with, right? That jumping heavy kick is such a fast way to clear that fireball and punish accordingly. But Momochi, let's see it, brother. Different variation because of the fact that he didn't get the full dream extension that he was looking for. He didn't get the true desync. But, you know, doesn't even need it. Nice and easy. Didn't want to risk it. Level 1 to finish it. Or sorry, standard combo to finish it off too. Had some bar just in case. Momochi looking very, very clean and very confident going into this.
You see a slight laugh. He's like, this guy's really playing with this character still. He really still going with the Manon. Like, I didn't see what happened to Fudo. Like, I don't have a strategy devised to deal with him. However, does land the command grab off the hit grab combo right there. Let's see if he can put it through his paces up in the corner. Won't go for the crescent kick. I'm surprised. I feel like that would have reached. As the anti neutral jump choice. Jump medium kick. I feel like those jukes are almost faking out the intention of a command grab. Cross up DP, cycle blitz, deep in the jump fierce. Using the walk speed, walk underneath.
Really starting to understand like the different threats that Momochi is kind of like playing at too. He's been threatening the fireball and keeping it very ambiguous as to when he wants to let the flicker rip on top of that. So that's been very difficult for Tachikawa to even try to decipher. And man, look, it's as if he's playing peekaboo with his own projectiles.
I see you up in the corner, 3 throws, and there we go. Momochi on set point with the quickness. Again, might be another quick game. This pick, I like the idea around it. It's just, I think Momochi watched the tapes and look at that. The range where he is at, the jump ins aren't going to be coming through. He's able to run the flicker game. Okay. A little bit of a bait right there. Tachikawa stagger steps a little bit in burnout, but still looks undeterred. Sweep. Button, no, super instead. Able to hold parry, I like that against the reversal super. Able to call it out.
Oh. That's all she wrote. Pretty much as soon as that driver should come out. Tachikawa is an absolute beast too. That meaty ending right when Momochi wanted to throw off the level 1 is so well calculated and so well timed. Tachikawa still keeping the dream alive and not via Ed, via Manon. Oh.
I think more often than not with the ODDP. Trying to inch his way in. Captain parry every so often. Would not like to hold parry. I get it. You don't want to drain the gauge too much. It's been kind of a problematic thing. Let's keep the bar up as much as possible. But we see a drive impact real soon here. A lot of the flickers, man. It might get a little too dangerous.
Yeah. A lot of the times the flicker from that far out doesn't really lead to like the suction being a threat if held, right? I think so. Tachikawa wouldn't really want to try to like parry from further out ranges, but from like closer up, then it has to be a factor. Tachikawa's gonna have to parry, but that might not even be the case. The low exposure, yo, enough damage, more than enough too, with the level 3 in connection. Momochi, absolutely flawless 2 games. A little bit around in between, sure. Tachikawa got 1 via chip, but Momochi sticking by his words, man. Said I'm pretty good with these characters. Be doing my best. Gets another 10 points on the board for Shinobiism Gaming.
He says he knows these characters. If you watch his streams, it's like 8 hours plus with characters he doesn't even play. So he understands what the characters are looking for, what the players are looking for when they play these characters. He's a lab rat going through with not only his character, but the other characters as well. He had to have watched the tapes against Fudo. I'm sure everybody saw that matchup and were like, what is Tachikawa doing with this character? It's the same sort of strategy with the jump-ins, the command grabs on wake up every so often. We did see a little bit more in the footsie department, I feel like, and a little less tap parry at full screen, but it was a similar thing to what we saw with Fudo. And Momochi watched those tapes and was like, okay, I'm not going to get got by the command grabs, I'll backdash a lot, I'll kill rush back a lot, I'll keep outside the effective range against his character, dump at the bar. A few risky DPs didn't lead to too much for Tachikawa in terms of him getting his rebuttal. And Mochi, I feel like if you're Tachikawa, that's the thing you save for a little bit later in the league, because that does not work now. Everyone saw that match. Everyone figured out what your game plan was, man. It's just not looking good. It's definitely not looking good here for ETP Oja. No points to their name. They could try to tie it up and give us a first and one. We'll have to see if that happens, though.
Yeah, can I just say, the fact that Momochi jumped almost every command grab in round 1 was crazy. My man was like 0 for whatever number in regards to, or Tachikawa was pretty much 0 for X in regards to the command grabs thrown out. But this is expected. I feel like I wouldn't want to throw in Johnny for this specific matchup. I don't think Marisa really has a lot of stock value for this matchup. I think throwing in your best bet has to be the Gravemaker, man. Throwing in with Akuma versus Bison, I think he does a relatively good job in this matchup. So we've talked about this before. We've prefaced it with a lot of the Akuma players here. Once Akuma locks you down on offense, it's so tough to get him off of you, right? It's very similar to how Luke kind of feels. This is a very basic kind of analysis to it. In regards to the plus frame pressure, right? Standing medium punch is a very, very dangerous button for someone like Akuma. +1 to get the party started. He also has access to doing a target combo off of that into a fireball, which leads into a spacing trap if somebody tries to rebuttal with a light after the block, because it is negative. You try to take your turn, right? Very dangerous thing to be a part of. So just off of that alone, how often he gets Oki, how many ambiguous like frame kill setups as he has to lead into another throw, into more situations. He gets to loop so many of these offensive moments that it really doesn't give a lot of players, a lot of characters like Bison doesn't have that reversal to breathe, right? If he does decide to reversal, it's going to be an expensive one. It has to be a level 1 or even a drive reversal.
Yeah, I'd rather use that bar for something different. Also, like, the fast fireballs definitely help out. You also have to think about, like, if you're in Burnout as Akuma, you can't make as many mistakes as Luke. But you can definitely wall people out with crouching medium punch, staying fierce, forward fierce. You gotta be on point. But the general idea is there. So I definitely see the adaptation from Luke for that character. Insane light kick too, as we mentioned with Bonchan, who has been very well adapted to that button as like a buffer. That's also like a good stopping button against other things that maybe Bison would like to do with scissor kick. If he is not spacing those out, it's an easy punish into a Tatsu into sweep into gas for crouching medium punch or throw into Oki. So someone like also Fujimura is really good and really adept at pulling out what's really broken with the characters, and what's really effective with the characters. So I really expect a lot more aerial approach from him. The Demon Raids, I'm expecting him to get a lot of Demon Raids as well. That's the way you gotta play against Bison. You gotta go to the air. Do not stay on the ground. You have to establish that air game, but once you get that, it's very effective against the character. Dante's will be hitting in areas where Bison cannot crouch fierce all the time. The dead zone up there.
Yeah, very interesting too. I think I haven't really thoroughly seen the hitbox behind crouching heavy punch from Bison. I don't know how sharp of an angle it is up above him or directly at his neck. I think that's like one of the sweet spots that we kind of look for in regards to like trying to get these consistent cross-ups against some of these characters. It's pretty much like right at the neck or beyond that. So I am kind of curious to see whether or not Fujimura can take advantage of that with the mobility that Akuma has currently. So we'll see if that comes to fruition. What a color choice.
Oh my god. The red, for the red hair, you know, Fujimura told me he changed his hair color because Akuma came out. It's crazy.
I want to believe that. The fact that he can change his hair color, man, you know, that's a blessing. You get the top Su in the corner, the damage Su, safe jump, yeah, has to go for the throw. Fireball to keep the contained, to kind of keep KB contained, excuse me. The pressure is going to be relentless. We talked about this literally as we started. The amount of damage yet again with the Tatsu Ender. Roundhouse Tatsu going for the safe jump a lot. Back to back. That's going to be 2 times in a row. Yeah, does get the punish counter this time. Is KB off of the jump in and a little slight tap to the knees, you know. Send him to the retirement home early.
Jab right there. Yeah. Hospice, man, when you're fighting Akuma. Look at that walk-up throw. Confident with it. Another throw again. Don't be up in the corner. Like, this is not where you want to be. We talked about how good it is from Akuma, how many different tools that he has, and the rotation that Fujimura is presenting is definitely next level. Maybe hunting for a crouching middle kick, and as you walk forward again, you're not having to charge it if you like to for the OD Cycle Crusher. Fujimura recognizing that and then drive rushing for the throw.
Ooh, that is a big miss swing. Uppercut level 3. Bang. The amount of damage pretty substantial. You get to keep him in the corner as well. Drive gauge, it's not going to be as much of an impact, but the fireball game going to be pretty dangerous. Or the drive rush game immediately afterwards. Jesus, you blink, you die. The Grave Maker already getting his first game. He's like, what would you want on your tombstone? What are your final words to the world?
Punish counter though, gets the dive kick. We talked about the aerial approach, but KB's ready with the walk sweep. The bomb is on. Blade crouching medium punch does land the explosion. No setup with the bomb right after, but you'll definitely take this damage. Just racking up. KB bringing down the Justice. ODDP, he rises from the grave with the OD. A little bit more room to breathe with too as well with these fireballs. Stripe rush. As soon as he tried to dash up, he gets checked in challenge, and there's the finish. KB making sure he stays 6 feet under in that west side of the screen. We like this from KB, a lot more active, a lot more aggressive.
Really tough call to drive rush forward, background house again. Really trying to enforce the mix. As KB has found 2 unchallenged drive rushes thus far, but Fujimura, again, trying to find his way out of the corner. A couple of normals, now the OD fireball, a couple of fireballs, in fact. Really trying to force the issue. Jump back away from the attempted grab. What's Fujimura going to do to kind of get his momentum going? KB doing a great job of staying active on defense. Perfect parry against the air fireball. And I love that too, followed up with a crouching medium punch. Checking the low down below, actually. The counter hit. Fujimura trying to strike again after the block normal.
The timing's very well against what Fujimura wants to do just in general. All right, it's a punish counter throw. Even a normal throw might be able to kill, or a crouching middle kick will. The structuring of offense is KB is able to switch it up where Fujimura isn't able to reach. See a lot of counter hits where Fujimura is trying to strike back in his own sequences, and KB is able to squirm in between. That's crazy. You see Fujimura has his own sequences, and KB is like, hold on now. I'm making the reads. I'll interrupt those. He studied the playbook of Fujimura.
Forward throw. First time we really got to see anything get started for KB. I feel like at the start of the rounds at least, but Fujimura again making the big risk and decision to OD uppercut, but man, he's getting a lot of mileage out of it. Stand jab, the bane of a lot of players' existence. That is just so fast, so far reaching.
Fujimura wanting to use that against Stripe Rush. Fought the buffer, about to catch a case. Tatsu level 1. Let's get it done. Fujimura now being able to stop the initiation of aggression that KB wants to present. The stand jab, as you mentioned, into so much damage here. OD fireball now. Oh, we're in. Almost caught him in the shinny. Jump back instead.
What a call out. Again, we talked about the target combo after with the fireball followed up. The fact that Fujimura held onto it was kind of crazy, but KB, speaking of crazy, a lot of damage, crazy damage incoming. Gets the cycle mine applied. Forward throw. Now you're in for the mix. Not too bad, actually. KB didn't want to overextend, but to no avail. Low forward. Fujimura, delayed crouching medium punch beat what now?
Was this supposed to be OD Psycho Crusher? I don't know. So why do that on Wake Up? He's about to be put to sleep. Tuck him in. Gonna sit with Calamity real quick. And that's Fujimura with the most immaculate timings right back at him against the counter hits, against the initiation of the driver situations that we've seen, the dash ups, has the proper buttons and the execution behind it.
Yeah. It's kind of funny, man. Bison stays catching the L's against Akuma in the lore. right? Ever since Street Fighter 2. Like, this guy is just continuously, how many times we have to teach you this lesson, old man? He's just continuously busting him down. Bison doesn't even remember who he is anymore in the lore, right? Just give him a break, man. That just looks violent. I don't like it. I don't feel comfortable. I need some assistance. This is it's hard to watch. But all jokes aside, Fujimura's doing a fantastic job of really laying down the pressure too. I think there's just so much for KB to handle all at once. He had to take that time out and converse with his teammates. This is just a lot to deal with pressure-wise.
You look at like the adaptation of like also OD Fireball also being introduced. Even though it's not hitting all the time, it's like another aspect where you're like, brother, why do I have to deal with this? Forward fierce, stand fierce. Now light punch, when I try to dash up, I'm knocked down. You get Oki, you go to town, and I gotta hold this. I can level 1, or I can maybe wake up OD Cycle Crusher. I don't know what that was about. But still, that's not a good thing for Bison. He wants to be the oppressor. You know, he doesn't want to have to be on the back foot as we see continuously. And KB has been wanting to swing with those big boy buttons and stand fierce. He hasn't been able to do that even when he's able to win a game. He's seen how that's been whip punished or jumped over, whatever it has been. When you take it off the table, you're like, bro, I want that access to damage. I want those plus rings off the +1, you know what I'm saying? So Fujimura is taking so many things from him that it's not feeling so good for the Bison to be able to interact. It's game point here for Fujimura.
Word?
You gotta
what a
be
reaction.
You gotta be kidding me.
Brilliant deductions thus far. Fujimura, he's been sniping out everything that KB's tried to do thus far in this round. Oh! A brilliant play in return. KB walking right underneath the air fireball. Keeping that pressure. I like that with the raw cycle crusher. It happened to clip Fujimura. So decent amount of damage too, plus that knockdown. How are you going to lay it on him? How are you going to finish out the rest of this round? Standing medium kick as a way to measure. Oh, that's tricky too with the OD head stomp right in front of him. OD uppercut yet again! This man, so much risk being applied, but man, he is really getting the most out of this. Oh, you tried to walk under it again! Oh my
He could have died for that. Had the timing been different, he could have died for that.
He ran right into the stop sign. Face first, brother. No, what a trade combo!
Goddamn. Air to air again with the jump medium. Back heavy kick, even more damage because you're close to the wall. He goes for the heavy kick Tatsu. Deep with the jump fierce. He gets a trap right after it. Won't go for the level 3. Oh, he will. He wants the lead. This whole kill will get him back to bar. Okay, it makes sense.
His drive gauge was looking a little bit too dry out in the desert. Oh, no, he missed. I don't even know what it was. Maybe he was trying to bait out a super. Level 1 perhaps, but then he's going to pay dearly for it. He still has drive gauge. He goes for the impact upon wake up. And you know, KB looking a little bit thirsty himself. A little low on the drive gauge. He could be in the same exact moment, but the punish counter, it's the command grab that nobody sees coming. Fujimura getting away with murder yet again. A full-on 3 games to KB's 1. Shinobiism Gaming gets their big win right at the halfway mark. Amazing performance.
Bro. All right, Fujimura, that was God, it's like when you least expect that to come through. There's so many options with the character. How are you gonna close it out? Teleport command grab. You could jab that, obviously. You can interrupt that, obviously. That could have been death, obviously. But Fujimura understands, even when things are or could be interrupted or killed, to not stop using them. Same with the air fireball. We saw that conversion come through the second time to land himself on set point. The teleport, a risky option, but a very strong option because the mental sector had acquired so much. This guy, he understands what's so powerful about these characters and utilizes them and rotates them damn near perfectly. Every time I watch him play, I'm just shocked at how well he plays and how dangerous he is when he fights somebody. You know what I'm saying? It's absolute decimation. That's why he is the Grave Maker, bro. It's in the name.
Oh, wow. This is looking like shades of Prime Fujimura when he was the point getter, the main point getter for majority of the games never played in whatever team he was a part of. I think he's been a part of, he's like legacy Shinobiism teammate. He's been a part of this team since their inception and has really been the driving force in terms of the points. I think if there's any sort of point getter, he's got to be it. He's got to be like one of the main ones to talk about. This is the first time we've seen him this confident in his gameplay and also with his character selection thus far, because he's not one to stray away from like upper echelon. He's not one to shy away from playing the top tiers. He's done that even in 5 also. So finally seeing him in this sort of like battle-hardened shape it shows a lot of promise and potential for the second half for Shinobiism Gaming. This 40 bomber, man, it excels them to 120 points. Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy.
Considering how bad their start was to where they're at right now is insane. Again, Fujimura, as you mentioned, he knows what's strong, he knows how to pull out what's strong and utilize it effectively. I think that confidence is when he really understands a matchup. We saw that with Itabashi when he won. He understood the matchup. But when he's fighting the player-to-player, sometimes he kind of falters a little bit. But this time it really felt like he understood what KB wanted to do more often. So he's combined different elements of stability, it feels. Not only the character-to-character, but the player-to-player. He's found success. And we're getting the interviews here. Johnny saying so fantastic by getting 40 points. We have a chance at getting first place next episode. I am the only one not winning, so I'll train for the next episode. Johnny, heart to heart, bro to bro. All right, met you at Evo, you a cool dude, so I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. Please switch to Bison. Please switch to Bison. I even asked him, I was like, hey man, where the Bison at? He's like, I'm developing the Bison. I'm like, all right, let me see it in the league. I think you'd be a fantastic player with the Bison. He's got the footsies for it. It's time for the Bison.
You know, funny enough, I think that's a fair thing to say. But he's got to follow in the footsteps of Big Bird, brother. Former Muscle Mommy going into Rashid. I think that would be sick. I think it'd be kind of cool. It'd be a very, and even more so like well-rounded team. You have 2 Eds, a Kuma, and a Rashid. Either way, 2 Eds, a Kuma, and a Bison too. Like this is, it'd be great. But at the same time, I do have a lot of faith in how Johnny picks up certain like strategies. I do have faith in him when he says he's gonna develop a winning strategy with Marisa. I want to see it happen, man. He needs to understand that it's not gonna just be on his shoulders, though, right? It does truly take a village to make your entire team succeed. So he needs to also rely on his teammates to provide that type of practice and come to them with like any sort of development questions for his character. So we'll see how it plays out. In the meantime, we got 3 rising forces within Shinobiism Gaming, and that's Fujimura, we have Yamaguchi, as well as Momochi, man. These guys really are putting in the work, especially when it counts. Once the second round robin starts, there's no turning back. There's no turning back, man.
Let's go. As many points as possible. Once before Terry drops. Who knows what's going to happen with that? Yamaguchi says, we couldn't win the first few games, but we did a great job these past 2 episodes. Really happy that we won. Momochi says, I knew Tachikawa would come, so I trained with my teammates for Manon. The game was mostly a lucky game, but great, we won. I don't think it was luck. You read all those command grabs, I don't think that's luck. I think you were just on point with it. And Fujimura says, we were the home team today, and it seems Division S away team will have an advantage. I don't think so. I really got ready for the game, as we saw in the matchup. And the adjustments throughout the matchup too as well. Utilizing different buttons, OD Fireball, going for certain tactics that would get less once, and he was like, I'm still going to do it because I know the reward is going to be hefty. And maybe I will die for this, but I'm going to ride with what I know is strong.
And it makes a lot of sense too. He does have like a final statement towards that as well. Majority of his game plan was making reads against KB, and he was, well, in his opinion, he feels he was really lucky that most of his attacks were hitting. I think luck is one thing. It's something always you need to always like factor for, but preparation for those moments is what really grants him that W. So no matter how much luck is there that shows up to the game, the fact that Fujimura is ready with the execution is a very big statement, right? It proves that he's absolutely ready for any occasion. And if that occasion rises, that occasion shows up, he's already ready with those buttons. So great awareness, great situational awareness, good game sense, and just overall great reads coming in against his opponent too. So KB, still a lot of faith in him, man. He's been showing a lot of potential this season. Sure, it's not going to be the last we see of him in regards to this Bison play. He's going to be getting a lot of surprising W's too, so we'll see it. Towards the end of it though, we rounded back to the leader, Momochi. First half is done. It was a slow start, but hopefully we don't keep losing the first few games of the second half. Come on, man. Positivity, bro. Positivity. Come on.
Come on. Oh, that is nothing you want to say, especially when you have such strong players on your team like Fujimura, who has been developing and evolving his own style. Again, to see him not only take what's strong and utilize it the proper way, but also acclimate to how the other player is playing too as well, which has been an admitted problem from him, from his own mouth. Is great to see that this development, this confidence with this character, taking not only the player-to-player but character matchup to the limit, has been nothing short of incredible. It's good to see these players evolve, and it's good to see. I screamed. I almost jumped into my seat. I did not expect that to happen at all. When anyone goes for the command grab ender, especially like someone like Fujimura, like, come on, bro, chill. I know it's October. It's almost October. But
he's been throwing a lot of like random things on offense, and I won't say it's necessarily like so random. I think it's more so like matchup specific. We had a day where he was continuously throwing out sweeps against Itazan. Again, this is the first time he hit us with the jump scare with the command grab. So very interesting strategies coming out of the woodwork from Fujimura to set the pace towards these specific matchups, and I'm really excited that we got to be a part of it. You guys should be as well. Again, a really blessed time to watch this the entirety of these matchups unfold too. The meta is continuously being developed here at Street Fighter League Pro Japan with everything that we've been going through. These are the final results of match 1, 2, and 3. Good squad got their big W 30 points. Saishun Solo Kumamoto got their 30 points. Shinobiism Gaming is 40. This is what the spread is currently at. Great squad at the top with 150. Shinobiism Gaming at 120. Saishun Solo Kumamoto with 105. Fukushima Ibushigen, I might have miscalculated. They're currently below the playoff line at 105. Fifth place with Nagoya and TP Oja at 85. Dead Nation Focus Me, you hate to see it, 55 points to their name, but it is according to lore, right? They are the slow starters. Hopefully they'll have a more impactful finish in the second half, as we see in the current graph. It's a tough shot, but it's doable.
Definitely doable. It'll be difficult as the season goes on and the points get spread. Now we see another spread. Division F here. Hibby Gaming going up against CAG Osaka, Yogibo Reject against Crazy Raccoon, and of course Yoshimitsu Itsuka versus Varel will be the next time we see these matches up on October 1st, actually. So as you mentioned, we'll be taking a little bit of a break. Let Terry drop, let the dust settle, see what happens with that. And then we'll return with more Street Fighter League action, which I can't wait to see if anyone picks up Terry. You think someone will pick up Terry this late in the season, especially when you have Division S right after that on the 4th with Fukushima Ibushigen, Saishun Kumamoto, Shinobiism Gaming, Good 8 Squad, NTP Oja versus Dead Nation Focus Me. Think anybody's going to be picking up Terry at that point?
Can I make a wild prediction? I think we will see a minimum of 3 Terrys next episode. Minimum of 3.
I was thinking 2, but I'm with you. I think we'll see Terry. I do think we will see Terry.
Bring out Terry already! I'm totally kidding. Very excited to see the release. I know a lot of the players have been looking forward to the release as well, with all the content that has been coming out from the side of the social media accounts, the Street Fighter account, Capcom Fighters account, Capcom_esports account. There's been so much in that trailer and also the in-depth strategies of Terry's release that it's gotten the attention of almost everybody around the world. This is the current schedule. As you can see, it is blocked out for next week. Again, for all the fans at home, sorry about that, but there's a lot of news coming in the works of Capcom, so everybody has to prepare for that. I know some of the players are going to be doing like some exhibitions as well. They're going to be involved for that weekend, and as well as the commentators. I just talked to Aru upstairs, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to be doing commentary for this weekend for Tokyo Game Show, so everybody's going to need a little bit of a break. But going into it, as we talked about, a very big Q&A session that has been brand new to the realm of Street Fighter League Japan. That's going to be happening for a lot of the pro players and for the fans at home during some of the viewing caravans. You guys can check out all the details. Again, Street Fighter has been doing so much and reaching out to the fans, and you can see the proof. Capcom_esports, exactly where you need to go to check them all out. But in the meantime, again, you guys have been tuning in to Division S, and the conclusion of match 3, completely unpredictable. But there's so much in the world of the Capcom Pro Tour to consider. The Super Premiere happening the first week of November. Be sure to sign up if you guys are going to be in Japan during that time. It is going to be open bracket, as it usually is for a Capcom Pro Tour event. This is something that is a very big deal for a lot of the competitive players, but it's also an extra treat if you're in Japan. I'm literally speaking from experience right now, being able to do so. Sign up! Be sure to do so. QR code down below. You have no excuses. If you're a pro player, this is your time to get into the Capcom Cup.
And it's also a good time just to play and practice with like some of the best in the world out there. It's never a bad idea to go out and practice amongst some of the best. All the players are going to be out there, I'm sure, from all around the world. So sign up, join up, and join for all the other premieres that are happening. I know ECT is on the way. So is Blink. We already had UFA with Ryu Kusanagi solidifying his spot for Marseille, France. We'll be seeing what happens. Yo, by the way, Minard, you don't think I don't see with that beautiful video with that Blink? He was like, I can't wait to see who's going to get second at my tournament. He had a lot of heart behind that. So it was great. Catch that on Twitter, y'all. But right now, y'all can catch the World Warrior coming up on the 6th of October. I'll be watching that early in the morning before I have to go to work out at DreamHack Atlanta. So I'll be getting no sleep, but it'll be definitely well worth it. It's the third one, so this is going to be very pivotal in terms of who gets the most amount of points, who's going to be in the lead. It's been hard to call, as per usual, who's going to take it in this region, and we've seen a lot of top spots get taken by likes of Higuchi and many others, so keep your eyes locked and loaded on that one.
Without a doubt, again, just in case you won't be around for the time zone, there's always going to be the World War that happens on the weekends afterwards to highlight all the regions in the world for all the World Warriors that happen. So, with that in mind, again, be sure to tune in regardless, because it's been a very, very hotly contested region due to the fact that it is a super premiere in the world of the CPT. And of course, that is going to be shown off in a public viewing setting over in Japan. It's so, so cool. You have, obviously, Hameko Aru, and I swear I recognize this person. I've actually shook his hand before, but I never get the name correctly, and I will for the next time, that is for sure, because I think I follow him on Twitter. So, that's actually my mistake. It's very difficult sometimes. I get a little bit of brain fog when it comes to names. That's just me as a person. I do that with sometimes family members. I'm totally kidding. So, one thing I do remember, though, is the fact that the super premiere in Singapore is going to be happening on October 18th through the 20th. That's going to be immediately the weekend following East Coast Throwdown in the States. So if you guys are interested, there are opportunities to go to back-to-back premiere events, and I guarantee you they're going to be bangers all the way through. Everybody is traveling for these offline events, and for very good reason. We talked about what's on the line, man. Don't make me say it again. You got that milli for first place. You got to do it. You really got to do it. Again, if you can't, if you're just a fan, casual player, still a great time. Back-to-back premieres. Couldn't ask for anything more.
Couldn't ask for live events. Couldn't ask for any more for the Street Fighter League European Edition. It is going to be live November 15th, 26th. I love seeing live play. Y'all love seeing live play, so that's why you're watching this. You get to see the evolution of the players as they go on in real time. So make sure you mark your calendars for that. There's so much going on in Street Fighter, whether it be Street Fighter League, whether it be offline events like DreamHack, whether it be Sage Jam Slam this weekend. People, make sure you tune into that. That's going to be, I'm assured, on his stream, or maybe Capcom stream. I don't know what it is. Just follow Sage Jam. You'll figure it out. But it's going to be a really cool event, a team-based tournament. But speaking of team-based tournament stuff, it's almost time. It's almost time for the roster reveal. Ooh-wee.
Yes. Brother man, you know, I do have a couple of insights with this roster reveal, as I happen to do the show too. So hopefully I make it back in time, wink wink, to get this roster reveal going live, right? This is going to be a big deal with the current roster of teams that we have. A very different look, but a lot of big-time orgs stepping into the arena of Street Fighter League US. Very excited to see it, and also very excited to see which players got picked up from the talent combines these last couple of weeks. You guys don't want to miss it. Sunday, September 22nd, happening at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Domestic Time. Street Fighter League US is coming your way very, very soon. Now, again, you guys have been tuning in. This is the halfway point. We appreciate you all. Until next time, my name is Vicious here with Senkola, and we'll see you on the streets. Take care, everybody.
この後は選手の音声入りの本日のハイライトをご覧いただきますので、こちらもお楽しみに。それではディビジョン F 第5節でお会いしましょう。さよなら。さよなら。参りましょう。笹も対するは Y チーム C、 行ってみましょう。
ドライブゲージがね危ないんで、
笹もそれでも前に出るか。くした。そしてズーバチ。
いやノーキャンなのフロー。マジで強いです。危
ないぞ。これはゲージがある。すごい。一気にいった。お見事。 SS3 新竜連覇が入ってコサが中堅ですね。はい、ダイバー入った。
斜め気合い入れて。オッケー。ありがとう。すごい。斜め良かった今。
最後打つなら打てと言わんばかりの。さあこれは当たっている。イーグルからオーディミキサースカイハイ。
痛いこれ。痛いじゃん。
オーディミキサースカイハイ。
おお。ナイス。でかい。出るやろね。ねいつで黄色や。
生きろ。スカイハイ。
いやーダメか。いや
めっちゃいい勝負してくれ。
いい勝負だった。
やっぱり狙ってガードの後反撃。ここもケアしてたな。読み勝っていったバックステップからケアしてたな。い
や予備合い強かった。
ジャンキャン。
予備合い強かったわ。
ジャンキャン。
崩していく。先にバーンとしたのはネモ。さあジョンはこの画面味。うわーしっかり。この画面味。
うますぎ。やるね。
ここで上見てました。
うまっ。
これで樋口をバーンとしてマチャボーにドライブゲージが返ってきた。わー昇竜出てしまったかー。ドライブゲージが返ってきた。わ
ありがとう。美味しすぎ。やったー。
バーンとしてマチャボーにドライブゲージが返ってきた。わー。
うわー。マジミスはな。
またまたバーンとさせられてしまった大谷。苦しい状況。マッチポイントにはなっている。画面端掴んでいる。サイコリッカーから
ナイス。
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 また止まってた。
長引かせたくはない。うまく下段をついて倒しきり。サイコチェンバー温めたゲージをここで放出。しっかりと勝ち切っていった。長引かせたくはない。うまく下段をついて倒しきり。
冷て。
噛み合ったな。
いやよかったよかった。
最初でかすぎたな。
最初がもう。
うわここでおもろ。心の隙間を摘み取った。
サイコクラッシャー削りではあるがって感じ。仕方ない仕方ない。
しょうがない。
いやいい捨てゲーだったな藤村さん。
いや
よし。なんだこのキャラ。何このキャラ。ありがとう。ナイス。
思ったな。
よっしゃ。
40。
これ暫定2位だ。